Yes, this not time for all Salon people and them party them. Sub-Saharan Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Bebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the president's hour and the Gladi program, Look Me, I Look You. All this they start soon na www.saragemmedia.org. Now who's tem these?
The Sierra Leone entertainment industry, UK and I, appeal in response to COVID-19. Coronavirus is here.
I just want to tell you this short story here, but coronavirus waiting, especially me they miss the entertainment industry.
COVID-19 don't put the world into a standstill. We know say no party need to go on, no shows.
And as a community, we don't come together anymore like we used to, especially during the weekends.
I know it's hard. Honestly, I know it is hard.
Stay home, stay safe, please.
We know exactly it is causing so much psychological problem and financial problem.
It is a harsh reality for all small business owners across the world.
The coronavirus that affects me big time in my community because I need to even get chance for come on and do for go do my business. Women a businessman.
I'm a hairdresser and I have a lot of clients, and also I work with a team of other hairdressers.
Actually, as pandemic affect my business greatly.
Well, I'm in a beauty business. Everybody just stays indoors and would not want to have on makeup, especially those who just do makeup when they want to go out.
Just do things that you've always wanted to do. Learn a new skill, read a new book, watch a series on Netflix.
Yo, my people, wherever you are, whatever you do, remember, Corona is real.
The last few weeks had been very anxious and stressful for everyone.
Like everyone, I felt the wide-ranging impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, challenging our extended family unit.
It has not been the same working from home.
You should only go outside if you need to get essential items or if you're a key worker, like my mum who works at the NHS.
Do ya, my people them, make we follow the rules them at this very time.
Coronavirus is real.
We not say it's not easy, it's difficult, especially when we get family for feed.
Because the longer this goes on, the longer we won't be able to return to our normal lives. And the only way we can is if we follow the guidelines.
Let's come together and save lives.
Just because being a musician, I tour and I perform and all my shows have been cancelled due to the situation. So
that said, everything about coronavirus has not been all negative. For example, staying at home has enabled me to spend more time with my children.
The positives are though, you can spend more time with your family members, you can appreciate the importance of humanity, you can see people being generous and kind and supportive.
We pray that these dark days will soon be over, and as a community we can bounce back stronger and better.
I mean, all the activities that we normally do on a daily basis, it's not happening at the moment.
We don't shake hands like we used to. We don't hug like we used to. And as a matter of fact, the outbreak of this pandemic has instituted the practice of physical distance.
By doing so, we are stopping this virus being spreading. Then we can get to our normal daily life.
One thing I believe for sure, we're going to come out of this very strong, you know.
Yeah, anybody who gets mama, naya, until with an old age, we get any underlying illness, please we always contact and check them.
But this don't left them very, very sad. This don't left them feel so isolated. This don't left them feel confused.
Coronavirus or COVID-19 has affected my community in so many ways that we have never seen before.
Due to this virus, we've suffered mentally, physically and emotionally.
Coronavirus is causing lots of mental health for people in my area.
My community, I don't even see my neighbors now. We're all indoors.
For all this time so far, the mood has been extremely somber, especially considering how unpredictable the whole situation is.
We are in the house and doing online studies, which is not easy, and it is sad.
My dad is a bus driver and he works because he's a key worker. People who are not key workers, please stay at home to prevent the spread of coronavirus.
At the moment, I'm now doing online studies because coronavirus has affected my studies at school.
I'm begging you as your sister and your daughter, please stay safe.
COVID-19 pandemic has affected us all, professionally, socially and personally, with some drastic changes made to our daily lives.
I would like you to follow the instruction government are saying to you.
Romans 13:1 and 2, it says every person must submit to and support the authorities over him.
May the Lord bless us and keep us. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon us and give us peace.
This is the time that we need to come back together. This is the time we need to reconcile. This is the time we need to begin to love each other. This is the time we need to let go of those things.
And what we know is that at this time, we all need God's protection.
Remember, we are all in this together. Coronavirus is real.
So please stay at home.
Because we want you for their life. We want you for the salon suite. We want you for enjoy salon.
There was a king, and this king ruled his kingdom. In his kingdom, air was clean. Yari the cat was the favorite pet to the queen. Yari was upset that this common lizard, Kotoro, would answer back to the queen. Yari. There was a king, and this king ruled his kingdom. In his kingdom, air was clean. Yari the cat was the favorite pet to the queen. Yari was upset that this common lizard, Kotoro, would answer back to the queen. Yari.
Hello, my name is Josephine Kamara. I'm the founder of You Can Do It Foundation. You Can Do It Foundation is a charitable organization based in Sierra Leone, West Africa. You Can Do It Foundation has been in existence for the past 2 years. We have been fighting gender-based violence against women and girls within the community. During the past 2 years, we have been offering psychosocial support, counseling, court fee, medical fee, including school items to the survivors of gender-based violence. However, during the lockdown of COVID-19, report received and confirmed that rape cases among a minor has increased tremendously within our community. Because of this, You Can Do It Foundation has secured the land to build an accommodation for the survivors of rape. However, this may almost become impossible without your generous support. We need your help to build this home for the survivors. Your help could be in cash or in kind. If you wish to join us to make a difference in a child's life, please go to our website, which is www.youcandoitc Or you can go to our GoFundMe page, which is Home of Hope for the survivors of gender-based. Or you can contact us with the details at the end of this video. We thank you greatly for your generous support, and thank you once more for making a difference in a child's life.
To my friend, she was the brightest at our level, even though she was as innocent as the heaven. That did not stop Papa Abu at age 57 to ask for her hand in marriage as she turns 11. Her parents, being naive about this rage, tolerated this marriage, and this destroyed the hopes and dreams of Kadiatu to live like it in Seattle. Instead, she's been used as a tool by an old school. Kadiatu is being used as a bait by her own mate. My friend is being emotionally tortured by this old culture. Old child marriage, it's on the rampage like disease, eating up the fabric of our girl child image, and it's our duty to cage. Let's diverge. Please be obliged. It is now we emerge from this ancient custom at large.
If not for this dreadful event, Kadiatu could have become president, but now she has been trapped in an old man's residence, like a mosquito in a tent. She is vulnerable, but with her age, she is still able to become that virtuous woman of substance, like Madam Patricia Kaba, Madam Dr. Kadi Sise, Madam Sianyama Kooma, Madam Dr. Sylvia O'Blyden, Madam Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Oh yes, without child marriage, our girl child can still turn into Madam Hillary Clinton, Madam Theresa May. Be it as it may, Madam Condoleezza Rice, let's not be hypnotized, but rather stay wise, for this can only be realized if education is being prioritized and child marriage is being criticized. So please, parents, do not relent, as it is apparent that a girl child can become great if only you patiently wait.
Hello, Fabulemo. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and good night, depending on whose partner the world you find yourself. Welcome to Sergem Media special zooming in program on Tuesday. Today is the 20th of April, 2020. We apologize for the late start, I should say. and the intermittent break in transmission due to some technical issues beyond our control. So we apologize to we Facebook followers and viewers them. Today, if you they watch we or you click on the link, please join us on YouTube. We don't post the link na Facebook, so you can click on that link and share it with your friends. So we go follow this conversation. Me, Ona presenter, as always, na Juma Ba, and I have Sylvester Tiboy Dugba, who is my co-presenter and also the monitor the chat. Tiboy, tell Fambulemadu.
I'm doing a good evening, Christian Akabo. Again, once more, we apologize for coming on YouTube today. When I all don't see the kind of
we're just on YouTube, not say on YouTube today.
We're on YouTube. We don't know whether it's going to be a continuity or it's just for today. But let's just say we are on YouTube right now, and we hope saying that we're able for January. The conversation remains the same. It's just a platform that has changed for today's program. Hopefully, we'll come back to Facebook. Not so?
Yeah. So, well, we obviously will therefore utilize all the platforms then, because we get, depending on people and comfort. And so you will feel, any inconvenience, we apologize for that. So as T-Boy say, we they continue the program today, and Ramadan, they move slowly. T-Boy, how did Ramadan they go? You know almost days today? So you get for Spy Force, you see?
Well, I'm not in count. The only two they count from Ramadan are how many days I know they keep for, which I'm thinking they can be very, very unusual. So they make a not able for keep 12. But I think tonight they 5 or 6 or 7.
Yeah, we don't go far, not to 8 or 9 days today. So
you see? So but we not can actually keep count. I only keep count of the days that we annually fast. That's if annually fast.
Right. Yeah. Well, on our way they keep fast, and we way they keep fast, we say, we pray let God cleanse with fasting and accept with duas and prayers for we self, we family, we community, we countries, whosoever we day, and the world at large. Today program, as soon as see where we advertise, we say they can discuss the Sierra Leone Parliament fiasco and ask the question, who is responsible? A day after the big fiasco at the Sierra Leone Parliament. As we all know, this year, historical year for we the mark 60th independence since we, get independence, where we say we don't mature, then don't left we on we own, let we continue for do everything for ourselves in terms of politics, in terms of the economy, in terms of everything, in terms of we aspirations that we carve we way for move forward as a nation, as a country. But a parliament we get about 146 representatives, we 132 elected representatives, and I think about 14 to 16 chiefs. We the 14 chiefs, then we did a parliament. In the first in the history, for almost 60 years, for let we see waiting happen soon at the Sierra Leone Parliament ever happen. T-Boy, this come as a shock to you or no?
It is an extreme shock to some extent because, like you say, a lot of stuff like this they happen at other parliaments all over the world, and some parliaments in Africa, and some parliaments in West Africa. But the first incident we happened 3 years ago now with parliaments was a shock. People let me be surprised, like, wow, okay, this is the first time in the history. But me can always say, if we not allow the first thing for happen within our own environment for the first time, and nothing is being put in place to stop it from happening again and again and again, it will be a continuity. So yeah, I wasn't too surprised that this one is happening now, and possibly there is more that is going to happen anyway, because there is a norm now with some of them stuff in the way they happen. If you look at all the parliament, then we don't face any kind of clash within settings. It must have started before, and then come to the second and the third and the fourth, so it becomes like a norm now. So yeah, I wasn't too surprised at all.
Right, but again, like you stated, 3 years ago, we see something unprecedented. We will not see much in other countries yet. Of course, it happened, but it is shameful for let we get the security personnel then go in there and go beat members of parliament and all that. But yesterday was another level. We not be done see am yet. And at 60, then say 60-year-old man not to picking or woman not to picking. So if now we 60-year-old you want begin practice for play football, can you imagine?
You know, before you recover by the injury, if you get any kind of injury, because you won't own.
Exactly.
You really heal on time. It take time for make you heal. So basically, at that age, you don't really play. You don't even play sideball football, say, like a 6 society, so even worse.
Right.
I think you go good for being at the line, for be possibly a linesman.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's a struggle.
Right. So that what makes it really concerning, and we believe so we'll forget this conversation. And we ask the question, who is responsible? Because we don't see a lot of finger pointing them. I don't know whether you watched the whole thing yesterday, T-Boy. Waiting at your own take. Who do you think is responsible? And also we'll ask reviewers themselves, let them give their own take, and hopefully we'll open the phone line. If people feel comfortable to call, they can call and share their opinion, because this issue concerns we all Nasalo. So who do you think is responsible for what's happening in our parliament today?
A very difficult question to answer, but I think my opinion will stand as this. Parliament gets rules and regulation, and I can always make reference to the Constitution of Sierra Leone. Majority of the time, the Constitution is one thing we're supposed to live by. But over the years, I would say 5, 10 years back, or even 15 years back down the line, the Constitution has been misused. And my interpretation for that is the fact that the Constitution is liable to interpretation. And every lawyer or every law practitioner, they interpret certain laws them differently. There is no specific rules of how the Constitution can be interpreted. Because if you look at one line in the Constitution, they interpret them in your favor and you interpret them against the favor of the other person. So that is one thing that is really confusing about the Constitution. Because with the incidents we happened yesterday...
Boy, hold on. Every constitution is like that. You understand? Because not so we no more get constitution. Other countries then say they will get constitution. So that confusion there and that interpretation there, not for permit certain things then. So is it the interpretation or the reason behind the interpretation?
Honestly speaking, I think it's both the interpretation and the reason behind the interpretation. Because, for example, if I say some specific lines today, we have been getting for the yesterday, but let's just cut first. The good thing about this incident, the way they happen in our salon, at the moment, if you are knowledgeable, I think it's about time that you always read the Constitution and make references to go back to the references the way that they always quote. Because when they quote 1,000 of those references within a year, if you don't have time to read the Constitution, you will have read it finished. So to me, it's one big privilege for the one who ain't able to read the Constitution yet. Anytime when you see with parliamentarians and they argue about something in parliament, they quote section this, section that. Please take time and go read that section and they were in the quotes, section this of chapter 1 or article something or this. Please take your time and read those quotations from the Constitution, because when you read them and you realize the issue when it's time for legislate or then it's time for fight about or it's time for rectify, you go able to make your opinion whether it is legitimate or not. Because like I say, the interpretation of the Constitution is never been a fixed thing, because everybody get the way how they interpret them, and I think that's wrong.
Right, but again, let me go now specific to yesterday incident. What you understand based on what you don't see, write up videos, audios, and possibly people the way you talk with, waiting you think, waiting at your narration of waiting you think say happen. I know say you not been there in person. So according to waiting you see or hear or read or discuss with someone.
I can always say if you don't in a salon, something happen, no jump and make decision, you start to make noise. Oh yeah, this, that. Because if you don't sit back and listen to all the discussions they around that particular incident there, you either end up for make a wrong decision or you make a wrong statement or you begin make wrong accusation and you begin make wrong options them of things they have to say. Yesterday's event was a very controversial event. According to the parliamentarians, according to the issues they raised during the discussion, I was even shocked that they had a parliamentarian sitting at Bintumani. So as far as I'm concerned, why was the meeting being moved to Bintumani if it gets people away in a parliamentarians?
Yes. Yeah, so if according to waiting me understand, Parliament's day in recess. Okay. Obviously, example, we school day, then go take half-time break and kind of things like that. So Parliament is in recess because then send a mortal man them and therefore take a little bit of rest. Okay, which is lawful, it's legal, it's constitutional, it's procedural based on the parliamentary proceedings and all of that, which can guide the parliament. So the president, His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio, been get for summon an emergency parliament where according to which we hear and which we read or which we don't hear, then quote like how you say earlier, section 86 also give the president the power for call emergency parliament. Just like, for example, we work, CRGM media, we decide, say, we take 2 weeks break, okay, annually. But we decide, say, you know what, on this clause in your employment policy, now that in as much as you get right for go on vacation, based on the nature of work we do, certain reason then we go make them call, or emergency for can work. All I'll say, let's simplify. You work schedule now 8 to 5, okay? But based on the business needs, the chief executive can decide, say, you can stay longer or will they call you for car work weekend. We'll not need for give you long notice or anything like that. So that is why they met at Bintumani, based on me understanding. Okay, so now been an extraordinary meeting because Parliament they recess.
Yeah, but if Parliament they recess, not mean say the building is shut to the parliamentarians they will use them on a usual basis.
Well, we don't want to go into that detail because we may not, I don't know the specific reason. And Parliament not necessarily means say they get for seats now the House of Parliament yonder. Parliament they constitute because we don't see, and it's precedented time and time again, when they move the Parliament. So Parliament can meet now upline, depending, as long as they get a group of people them. So the building is just the structure where now in there make them easy for everyone. It's centralized, then get certain things there. But Parliament can meet any side in the country.
But we don't ever hold any parliament seats in any side in a salon?
Yes.
This is not the first time?
No, not the first time.
Well, that has been a situation wherein it is like something with an unplanned where next month, in 2 months' time, we go hold parliament meeting na Kenema Kailong Pujongbu or Makini. So that's different.
Yeah, no, I mean that don't happen. And I just try for tell you now, say the question about the place.
Yeah, but that's a different scenario around because at the moment what you're saying now is yes, then the whole parliament sittings in a different location based on planning.
Right.
But if parliament they're on recess, we know for say they're just taking a break. Mm-hmm. They are not taking a break from the building.
No.
Because what I understand, now the fact say, if you're living in your house and you're not making or you're not doing any form of decoration within your house and you decide to take a break, you still live in that house, but you're taking a break, yeah? Say you, okay, I may sleep in my room this week because I choose for Kanyana Pala for this whole week. I just want to take a break from the bedroom. And then something happened coincidentally for make you go sleep in your room. They request say, you for go back in your room more. Because I need to talk to you, don't go talk in a room. And then you tell your website, for example, oh no, instead of go talk in a room today, you go talk in a veranda. And you know, say, sometimes you don't possibly know the discussion where you get with your wife. It's not a normal discussion that might lead to A, B, C, D.
Right.
In that circumstances, you argue with your wife, they take a finger over the balcony, it died. What do you expect?
Right.
Because you don't think that's going to...
So what's asking you to try for get at right now with that scenario is motive. You want to know the motive why...
I want to know the motive why them for move Parliament to Bintumani. Because as far as I'm concerned, Parliament not closed. Yes, they're on recess, but it doesn't mean the building is closed. And the building is more secured for any kind of form of intervention from outside. Bintumani is a hotel.
Right.
It's a conference center, it's a hotel. They have many other access that you can access the Bintumani Conference Center. Okay. So why do you want to hold a parliamentarian sitting in that particular vicinity that you know clearly well will not be safe for you, the parliamentarians? And if now the president call an emergency parliament meeting, Bintumani is not the option because the parliament building itself is in existence. It's still open, it's still accessible. We don't know whether they were doing any form of decorations in there. But if they may choose to go Bintumani, then if I don't check all security apparatus, make sure say the place is safe and conducive for the event.
So you don't begin draw other rope them, you don't begin take rope draw bush now. So that is something we need to find out. Exactly. Because we don't establish, say, Parliament can sit any side. Okay, it's not a major issue because it don't happen. Obviously, where them be they renovate, but like you stated, possibly them we don't plan them. Say Parliament they go put lockout today for this reason, and they go bow for this reason, and they go Kenema for that reason. So that they've been given prior notice. But this one, emergency meeting, where as far as we know, nothing not happen with the Parliament building. So you want to know the motive why the emergency meeting them begin for call and for meet now no other place but Bintumani.
Exactly.
And again, the reason why I make possibly, if I want for support you conversation a little bit, why make the motive is important is the coincidence with the incident will happen. Because we talk about force all day after here, because when you talk so something critical happened yesterday, and what maybe they think about is the safety of people.
Yeah,
safety is key because the day that they meet in Parliament, confusion happen or something happen, incident take place. All of a sudden, the lights go. There was blackouts inside the room, the place where the conference all that then they meet. The light was turned off. For most part. Then after that, all we hear, people in the cry say they don't pepper spray we. So was this deliberate for set this na Bintumani with the expectation say this kind of thing go happen or we go deal with certain people and they? So I like that point. Initially I want to challenge you, but now I don't see outside the conversation they go. So hopefully we will get an opportunity for ask that question there at some point. Why the emergency meeting they not choose for Holam at the usual premises where we don't know whether then they do renovation or anything wrong with the place because there has not been any public notice say Parliament is being renovated at the moment, but then decide for meet na Bintumani. So it could be just anything, but it's a question worth asking. All right. You want to say something before I ask?
Yeah, because again, that one big question we possibly need answers. And with the question who you earlier on asked, I think, like I say, the story is mixed. The videos that when we see the first one, now just somebody that make noise, yeah, that's it, a parliament so. But I'm thinking, no, this is not parliament. It doesn't look like parliament. So I was a bit confused. I wasn't even sure whether this incident was really taking place in Sierra Leone. Because when I heard the news, it's parliament, a salon parliament, I said, no, that was so salon parliament look like. This looked like a hall, like some conference center. And I don't know say salon they host the parliament sits in a conference center, especially at this time. So I was a bit shocked. So there's a lot of questions that we go possibly put towards the whole setting and the incidents will happen during the setting. I don't know what was the right story, but I understand say they called an emergency meeting for pass the bill, couple of bills, not just one, but couple of bills where they need for pass as an emergency situation. But I'm thinking also why Parliament they go to recess if this then bill they have so done in the pipeline for me then pass them. Right. Then one and two, why Parliament no wait until they resume before they go and sit and deliberate on the issues there. So why we need an emergency for actually pass them bill there?
Right.
We then for don't do it either before then go to recess or then wait after, then they can resume duty and sit down for the matter then properly. I think there is a lot of questions we may go ask in that capacity. Why now? Why not after recess? And why Binto money?
Right. So, like you stated, these are like valid questions because the understanding, according to the members of parliament, they will play a video where we will come explain some of these things. Okay. That has been the issue. Then say the president, according to the Constitution of Sierra Leone, gets the power for call an emergency parliament. But according to the Constitution, again, based on which we agree, the members of parliament they argue yesterday, now that if the president call an emergency parliament, then only they discuss the one item, the one line item where the president called the emergency for. You know, they can add, say, okay, president say, we forgot it rest. Okay? They wanna come, the table, wanna meet salad, wanna meet yebe, wanna meet pap, you understand, wanna meet akara, and all that thing. No.
We can't cut fast now.
We can't cut fast, exactly. You understand? The president called a summon an emergency meeting. You know, so the only thing we then will come discuss now that meeting, then are the one green line item where the president called the meeting for. So surprise not it. You understand? You know they get surprise, not to birthday party. Surprise. No, not to like that. So that's one thing. So the contention which we agree, and obviously the videos then will clarify that again. The contention that we agree, now that firstly, there is a procedure. T-Boy, we don't use for broadcast Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right? If, let me say, you decide, Femi decide, or I decided that we have an emergency broadcast for Saturday or Sunday, I know they just grab and go make the announcements you see them now with website, or with Facebook page, or with YouTube. Okay? I'll therefore call you T-Boy, Femi, we get emergency broadcast for Saturday. Now this is not the thing, which we get for do. Because we get for pre-plan, right? So what we hear the members of parliament and some of the members of parliament and they argue yesterday was that, like how you can say, na social media government, but they want for pass cyber bill. The members of parliament, the people's representative, the people the way they elect, just like how they elect the president of Sierra Leone, the 132 people. Majority of them, the one side, mostly the oppositions, members of the different opposition parties, them say, now social media, WhatsApp, now they then see the announcement say, presidents don't call emergency meeting. So let's talk about that side, folks. Because they tell this government say, social media government, but they want to pass cyber bill.
I'm not surprised because, like I've been always saying that this platform, every appointment, everybody with a non-sack, anybody with a non-move or transfer, any legislation we government they pull, we get administrative structure where if I follow not social media in the area. So not so just the opposition, they get that kind of experience. Even the people they appoint.
So someone
they say, hey, well, you don't see the news, who's news? Hey, the social media, in our WhatsApp group. They don't appoint you for this, that. And it's really shocking. Again, they go sack you back. You know what I'm saying? Sack you. Then we just put press release. Now,
so it appear on social media before you know.
Of course. Sure. So basically, I don't think we should be surprised with that anyway. And I don't think they say the members of parliament are surprised in that kind of situation anyway. So to me, it's Namida always say, when you don't accept one thing, and you accept that thing because of the process where they use now the wrong process, but you never for stand and say this process is wrong and we're not going to accept this process. You go for reverse this and go back to the normal process and you come back with the solution we were supposed to come up with. But we don't tolerate a lot as Leoneans. We don't tolerate a lot as leaders. We don't tolerate a lot as parliamentarians, the way they represent them people then. So if we don't tolerate all this while, these are on both ends, not just on one party section, on both sides of the party sections. If we don't tolerate this all this while, yeah, you won't be surprised if something like this happens because it's norm. So you've accepted the norm 3 years ago. So that norm is still being practiced. So again, if I wouldn't take certain stance there now, if they want to put a stop to certain norms, because the first incident will happen at Parliament 3 years ago, if then we don't put up a stance where they put up so yesterday not before happen.
Well,
but I guarantee you, if yesterday don't happen so, I don't think we'll have a third one.
Again, me want to be the devil's advocate because you see where they deal with national issues, not to all the time you get for follow your rights. I understand, obviously, what may happen was complete disrespect to the people of Sierra Leone 3 years ago because the people's representative, you send military for go beat them, manhandle them, do all kinds of things. Then you boast back. But then the government, they use a propaganda at the time, say the opposition are sore losers. They not want for support the government for succeed, they are bitter because they don't lost election. And trust me, a lot of Sierra Leoneans were not affair with within they happen, being by that narrative, they say, oh, come on, the opposition, then get problem. So they were powerless. They just don't come on government, they were traumatized with that. Then the people, the government don't sell, say, this government, that previous government, they don't thief all these kind of billions and billions. So people believe in that. So any argument with them before put forward, now for say, oh, come on, because we're bitter. So they were kind of like powerless. Even within their own membership, there were people who possibly, be they look at things that way. So let's say the government gets away with that thing there. And they use illegal means again, like how you say, for appointed Speaker of Parliament, because we don't beat down and you don't pull 10 commons now, then you install the Speaker of Parliament. We're in the rules so now. You're right for say, if it don't stop at the time. But we not learn a lesson and they don't do so many things then. But again, we say, on national issues, sometimes you get for giveaway you write for the greater good. Where I think saying that a lot now come out yesterday from the conversation them. So but I don't know if we can go now and go watch the incident yesterday where Mr. Palmer already. So, but again, I just want to come back to that, and not to. I know it's kind for defend, but just explaining. Say we look at national issues. There are lots of things that we get for do in a constrained manner, in the interest of national, in the interest of the public, of everyone concerned.
I don't know. Compromise different politics.
Yes.
How?
A lot.
How you compromise in politics?
Because politics is all about negotiation, it's about dialogue, it's about communication, it's about compromise. Because even me and you, Naya, SayaJem Media, a lot of things then they would compromise on. Not just take that simple example. We pre-production planning them, people see the end bits of it, but they don't know what goes behind, behind the scenes. So there's a lot of, you see things differently. I see things differently. Femi see things differently. We will argue back and forth. We will get with standoff because we all the claim say we want a better production, right? But at the end of the day,
so in politics, now we have the sitting and the opposition.
Yeah.
Where are the compromise? Or they want to compromise, or one person for compromise past the other?
Now, all say for compromise, but you will get the bigger stake. Now you get for be magnanimous in your approach. You understand? Now you for be humble. Now you for work with the one the way possibly you will say they're in a disadvantaged position. Because when they're in opposition, you don't have that much to carry. Okay? In terms of resources and everything, the one the way they're in a government, we form government. Now everything they are then disposal. So if you want certain things in the interest of the country for support your policies, them, even if they don't agree with them, but the way you approach them, the way you talk to them, the way you meet them and explain to them, able to convince them, say, it's in the interest of everybody, then they will compromise with you.
Is that what is happening in our parliament?
That's the big. Well, we don't know if now that they happen, now parliament right now. Because,
may I ask the question?
Yeah, so I will say, let we hold off on that. We will come ask that question back after we'll get for Yeri, the last video we will play. So let's go first and play the incident we happened yesterday. And I just want to let we viewers then know, say, not so we shot this video and it's one way we see from AYV television, and we want to give credit to them and everybody else we shot the videos that we will complete today. We need to take personal credit for those. Go ahead with the first two videos, please.
Oh, they perfect what the parliament, member of parliament have been money. When I look, oh people, when I look, first take place between the SLP and the APC and parliament for this law. Now look, oh me people, they perfect member of parliament them. When I look, oh me people, look, you people fait très dans le parlement. When I look at this at the voice of Koma APC, right now, serious fight in the parliament here between the APC and the SLPP. On the Speaker of Parliament, Abbas Bundu, almost will have everything, like all they tell you no more.
This is how Leoneans, under the Honorable Speaker, this is how Parliament has been turned into. This is how the Honorable Speaker, Abbas Bundu, has done Parliament. This is what Honorable Abbas Bundu has done to Parliament. This is how Honorable Abbas Bundu has done to Parliament. This is what Honorable Abbas Bundu has done to Parliament. This is what Honorable Abbas Bundu, yes, I
Well, Fambulem, that's some of the scenes then from the Sierra Leone Parliament or Bintumani Usai then been called an emergency meeting where the president been called and members of parliament been good. But there was a lot of fracas, fiasco, disagreement, and we are really shouting that, they are mostly about the Speaker of Parliament. So, of course, I did not tell the full story, but it gives you an idea of what you say unprecedented in Sierra Leone. Today will be the laugh. I know some weeks, months, or years back, we see Ukrainian parliament where they throw chairs and all of that. We see Somaliland parliament. And most recently, we see the one in Ghana, T-Boy. We laugh, we mock them, say how, then they like this. But then here we are, as a country, we the laugh yesterday. We say don't do the same kind of thing. But again, we ask who that's responsible for situation like this, because I'm not sure say the members of parliament grab now they host them in the morning and go yonder with the intention for go begin turn over table or things like that. So what's your comment so far?
I was fortunate to witness the first parliamentary sitting 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we parliamentarians, they ought to know better. They're acting like school kids at some point sometimes. Mm-hmm. But for the incident that happened yesterday, it's totally different. Mm-hmm. Where when you pushed someone towards the wall,
mm-hmm.
it rebound like a ginger. I don't know if you're noticing a ginger now, some rubber ball, then they get from rubber. Then they
yeah.
Okay. That's not the situation I feel this happened yesterday in Bintumani. I will still refuse to call on parliament because to me it's not a parliament sitting. We're supposed to be an official event. If it was planned, then yes, I would say so. But the whole idea then there is about Abbas Bundu don't try for what's in pass a bill or muzzle everything really happen parliament for pass a particular bill we get for do with census.
Yeah, the census and the cyber bill.
And the cyber bill. Okay. So basically, I don't know what's in the discussion of that particular bill. They will be away mount up.
They not even start. No. They not even start.
So, so what's in Green Candy?
Okay. The thing is all about procedure. Okay? The opposition or the opposition parties or representatives, they say, then breach the procedures, the standing orders of parliament. Again, I could go back to say the constitution, according to within it read, say the president gets right for summon an emergency parliament. And that's normal because a lot of things can happen in times of war, in times of things, you have to have something where, just close and say, where parliament they recess, everything stops because you deal with people and lives. See, you get for make decision with something and again, we come back to the same thing for sure. Say, when you're a president, you do not run the country alone. You do not monopolize the country. You are the president, but you have to consult with other major stakeholders for make national decisions. You just don't get up one morning and decide for security. So now that's the constitution say. This is my own layman's understanding. Okay? So you call the meeting, but they just call meeting like that. There are other leaders where you get for respect and you get for consult with their leaders here according to within the government, the parliament, their own standing orders then say. These parliament standing orders say, in as much as Mr. President gets right for call emergency meeting in the interest of the nation, where you do that, you get for consult the speaker of parliament, Dr. Abbas Bundu, enroll. The president don't tell and say, T-boy, I want to call parliament and you know to me they make law now they make law and now you know the speaker. I want to go discuss this thing. So the procedure, Abbas Bundu, Dr. Abbas Bundu, supposed for call the leaders then, the majority leader and the minority leader. Where now we get leader of government business and leader of the opposition, okay? And the clerk of parliament, the clerk, now like the right, the secretary, the this, the the administrative side. And the reason why making Sergey forget involved, because parliament not they just operate like that. You get forget paper, you get forget pen, you get forget budgets, all of those things, right? So in the clerk, and they do all them paper, then they the minutes and all them things, then they for make sure say nine they print them paper, then they make because I get address, I get phone numbers of all the members of parliament there. You there with me, T-boy?
Yeah.
Right. So the law say the speaker, we don't get our order from the president, you for call the 10 people in the way I don't mention. Leader of government business, leader of the opposition, and the clerk of parliament and tell and say, now this day, una go talk, una agree how the process for go. Then down and they now go to their own different parliamentarians them and go decide for talk. Okay, let me make this simple example, T-boy. Me, I like to make practical one. Football. Yeah? Where they play football, wait till they happen. Where they don't come, the two teams they don't come. The referee they not so. The referee they call the coin. They call the two captains they not so.
Yeah.
Pass those goalie ones. The goal don't gather up yonder. Law can toss. No so. Then toss. Then now they pick. They agree. When they don't agree, then they go to the team and they tell them say, "We don't agree now. So we penalty kick cram. Now the same thing. We don't force for go kick you or you." So now simple things like that, and this is not so magic. But according to the opposition, what we say, the speaker first not even tell them. Now social media they hear. So when I tell person, I go consult with her first. So now in social media, so because they get interested and send a parliament, I say, no, this will not left the logo by logo switch happen. So if you ask me, so nothing not take place per se for go discuss. And where then go now? Then go see this kind of paper back. So you get all the other thing here, so waiting the president call for, plus this, and this. And when then see an existing things, like I be asked earlier, you say waiting at the emergency, parliament be done, they discuss them here, then don't go recess. Where then can they get for continue? The census, the cyber bill. So that was supposed to, have something for continue. So if you ask, that's what my understanding is. But like they say, then I will make law can play that other video day.
I listened to Dr. Abbas Bundu in your press briefing where he make. And according to him, he turned around and asked, we've been telling you not to so. Now, do you stand self again? And the person turned around for ask, he said, on Friday.
Okay, so the person said not sure. He's not sure whether we've been telling them, then the other person said, I think on Friday.
If you, now the Speaker of Parliament, you for the talk with Robert Tam, say, yes, I consulted all these political parties involved and the leaders for say, we they meet today. I send them a note or letter or email or text message on Friday, 6 o'clock. Now I forward them all. Look the letter, look the text, look the evidence. Say I send them these documents for like we get some kind of communication before the incident. So if you they claim say they're not sending you no documents, you're not aware now what's up here, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Because now me what against you, you count the evidence. Now you say, okay, Juma, I'll give you 50, but I don't transfer your account. You go deny?
Well, if a person not in my account, if you're not in my account, now they say T-boy, me not see on my account too.
So if you not share your account, what you they say?
You not give me 50.
So you don't go to make I go check back my account and see that the guys are putting?
Exactly.
Thank you. So now the same time now, we talk about highly intellectuals in Sierra Leone that are actually disseminating information.
I will come to that side. We will come to that side about the policy winner, the speaker, a little later because
you mentioned say the information is being either they don't pass them on or they don't pass them on, or they're supposed for make the opposition, leader of the opposition, leader of both oppositions, and the parliament clerk. Now you mentioned saying they get minister of or member of
government business,
local business or government business. They're all for aware before they pass these things. Say, okay, yes, we'll meet next week.
Yes.
And Dr. Abbas will say yes, then communicate that. Where? How?
When?
When? If you're not sure.
And by whom?
Thank you. So this must hear so enough for the happen. But even when you kind of social media stuff, you're not able to confirm when the message was passed on to these people. You go for a turn and ask somebody whether you whether you sexy or not.
And the person say, I think say.
Now Friday also. You really serious issue like this? So for me, like I said earlier on, don't make a judgment, follow the narratives of everything that happened, that you can able to sit down now and rationalize and make up a sensible decision of what possibly must have gone wrong and how the situation lead up to what we were able to see yesterday. But as far as I'm concerned, if the opposition then they claim say this hasn't followed the process of voting it would normally be, I listened to Abbas Bundu's statement. According to what he said on the Constitution, the president may at any time summon a meeting of parliament, and he stops there.
Yeah. And not say, but where you do this, now the process.
Thank you. He just stops there. And I know for sure, so that particular statements there, he gets 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yes.
So basically, when you talk to the layman and say, now the president in rights for call parliament sitting. Yes, one another one day.
And the opposition, they're not deny that.
Okay, but how? But no, when you don't tell that layman, we don't know nothing. Say now the president in rights, when that's what they make so. They're not supposed for the make so because the president in rights for call parliament to order. Yes, but how? There are processes for him to do that.
Processes, procedures.
Thank you. We are not running a one-man show or dictatorship show wherein they pass the order and that's it. No. You pass the order, yes, it is your right to pass the order. Also, it is your right to make sure, say, the order gets processed.
It's a responsibility for the other people, for the other.
I will 110% say to you, I will support the opposition in that particular statement because the man where they pass the statement where to forgive the order, himself don't make it clear to me, your knowledge, he wasn't even sure whether the message was passed on to them because he can't even remember the day the message was passed on.
Yeah. And you not forget, you not take ownership. No. You not for tell you say I've been delegate this to XYZ person for pass information day and how for pass on or how they.
Tell me say last week on Tuesday I passed on a note to my secretary for make it send them to all the people we necessarily need to get that information there. But you don't talk with authority, it means you don't know what you're saying, or you're definitely saying things that is not right.
Again, T-Boy, when you look at that incident that will happen, even at that particular time where the engagement be the goal, the argument, you understand? The Speaker of Parliament still gets the opportunity for rescue himself. Let me say you make mistake. Oh, okay. Juma, you not send the what you call the thing, the synopsis, okay, for this program. You're supposed to send it. You not send it's the day for the program. You call Femi, call, hey, but Juma, you not send this thing. Then I say, oh, sorry, man. I have an opportunity before we go live for San Antonio for correct that mistake there. So he had that opportunity for stand parliament down, according to them, for say, okay, una hold on, let we go consult. Will not be done consulted. Now the leaders then now. Let's say, me phone not be the work. I call una unable forget una. You know, we try for reach una, or this now be hot potato. You know what? Myself, I don't under pressure. The president just called me within the last 1 hour, say we for meet. Yeah? Now they don't at the holiday. You can call them and go sit down with them and consult and tell them, say, now this the president one follow, we can't discuss. How can we go about this? Because not a normal circumstance, it's an emergency, it's an extraordinary situation. These are the reasons why you need to consult. Because all them people, them parliamentarians, and they now people's representative, then they represent the people of Sierra Leone, 7 million people. They all get way how they get for pass the message and how they affect them people them differently. This is not rocket science, for God's sake, T-boy, like how you say, for just say the president get right. For call, yes, the president get right. But what needs to happen? So don't begin, possibly we answer the question as they go along, who is responsible? Without we calling names, we don't see the line, how things they go. Like how you say, follow the narrative, not reach a judgment yet, then you go understand.
Yeah, seriously, you have to at some point, because at the end of the day, right now, we all they look at one person with the box stops at, is the president.
Yeah.
So if, again, like I say a few weeks ago, when you are on top of leadership, you for make sure say everybody with the honorary leadership, they abide by the rules of the leadership.
Right.
If anybody told the line, he go out of the rules of that leadership, that's that person that they blame.
Exactly.
I don't blame him.
Mr. Sebe, I agree with you. Now I can say the buck stop with the president, because the speaker, now you get order. Then you don't really say something they happen at Bintimani. Confusion on they happen, we know they all go well for. You can easily pick up a phone and call him, Mr. Speaker, what do we need to do to rescue this situation so it doesn't get worse than what already it is?
Yeah, but I will not even say that. I will pick up the phone and ask you, say, how comes I'm hearing this, that you haven't communicated with the members of parliament or the members of the opposition about this incident? Where are they used?
Right. Because you were not in the country, they watch him. Equally, so the president, they watch him live.
Of course.
You know, so you
I mean, they're fair for your life, say this, they go live?
Yeah. No, they're not saying they go live.
Well, again, now I understand. Now I say, somebody called me a couple of days ago, oh, T-boy, I want to do something. Oh, I want to go live. I'm like, are you sure? The reason you make us say, are you sure? Because previously in their past events with engaged, they're facing on Facebook Live. So I get the message. And I'm saying, no, it's not a good idea to go live. Because another envisage what's going to happen on that particular meeting they can go get to now is a separate one from the first one where they say they engage with una face. I don't want to disrespect my country in such way.
Right.
So I protect that incident there, not for go live on Facebook.
In the interest of the person, in the interest of
you. Yeah. In the interest of the people that maybe they do that particular thing. If they're facts now, fine, no problem. They can have their own fight behind the scenes. If it happen on Zoom, no problem. Who don't want to make it a corner, you pull them from Zoom, now go out, then that's different. But here we are, setting up an event on a public platform, and it is going to go live to the world, and there are not measures to put in place for rectify any issue that will happen.
Right.
Come on. The risk is high.
Yeah, I want to go to Femi quick before if you're ready. I want for a lay bot into this conversation before we go play the other video. Mr. Palmer, you don't hear the conversation, you don't see the topic, Sierra Leone Parliament fiasco, who is responsible? And you don't hear the narratives they hold on the play. And I'm sure you don't follow a lot of conversation on this. So I want for let you bot into this before we play the other video.
Hello, Joma, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, so for me, it's sad it was sad to see, really and truly, especially in this information age where we did, the whole world gets to see what we do. As you say earlier on, we don't see other parliaments them. We don't laugh, we don't joke, We don't see side people in the, throw punches, for making it happen for a second time in Sierra Leone. I think it was quite disgraceful, really. I don't know what to say. As I can always say, we deserve the government where we pick. Our parliamentarians are now we representatives. That means to say then are we. And if then they behave so, it just shows say now so we safe they behave. I think say really and truly, yes, we get for look at parliament, but more and more important, we get for look at we safe. I mean, Salon and say it will happen above case. These are the reasons, nobody really abides by the law. The policeman themselves not abide by the law. The judiciary themselves get problem. If somebody can't do me wrong, I carry my case go court. Most probably if that person get money past me, I lose the case. There's many things that will happen at Salon. We know they happen for the right reason. So they also today, we can't talk about this incident we happened yesterday, but really and truly, not yesterday this incident happened. It don't happen from time immemorial because from where we born picking, whether picking all five, with the land for lie, with the land for thief, with the land for do all kind of foolishness them. Then when they turn big man and then go into position of authority, we want to question them. It's too late. If you want train dog, you do waste your time. If you don't train the puppy before you go able to train dog.
Well, that's key, and like what they say, because again, listening to the conversation and the discussion would again, it only show some insincerity, some mistrust from day one. Because if you look at the incidents and the activities there, and you look at what the law say, simple, your guide, as speaker, your reference documents is the Constitution of Sierra Leone and your parliamentary, rule book when are you standing orders. It's as simple as that. It just sounds like you get a pastor or imam, he go team up for preach, then we want for reference. Before he reference the Bible or the Quran, he want for reference within in our Facebook. You can't reference what's on Facebook where your denomination, either being Christian or Muslim, say your guidebook, now the Bible or the Quran. Government, your guidebook is the Constitution and everything will surround the Constitution. Because the Constitution, now that one big document, but it gets subtext and sub-policies, procedures, and things like that, we make them a whole. Like how T-Boy asked, if the Constitution say President get right for call emergency meeting, the next question, how did they go about them? Because the president not in the gap and go get for delegates. Where they delegate, who they delegate to? How will they delegate? Waiting them people that they supposed for do for ensure say they represent waiting na the president's intention. As simple as that. We go can't play the other video just but see, boy, you see, I want for like push, but we don't go to the Speaker of Parliament, and Femi don't talk about something here that we're not going for wait until people they occupy the office system. We're going for look at people in character. Now I make note of every kind policy. We don't say this before. You know, just take position, go give person just for because you let me find this, that. Look at that person. Will that person be able to represent themselves? Will they be able to represent you? If they wake up and sleep right now, they ask you, Tibo and Femi, would I, if you say we'll go do this better? If you say, well, that means a problem there. And for able for, on top of me, think without a second thought, say it will be Femi or Tibo will be best, to represent CIGM media on this specific issue. I like to make the example to we, because we all different personality, different way they look at things. So government again are the same kind way. But within bind we have what we put in place, whether written or unwritten, for say, now this way we they operate. Anything outside that, we get for consult we self. Simple, not so magic. But, you know, Salone, growing up, have always admired Dr. Abbas Bundu from a distance. T-boy, ask me why.
Why?
Because he's one of the person, me, art students, I study government, I study history, you know. We always done the boast that Dr. Abbas Bundu, now one of the brains that we Sierra Leone gets, the best constitutional lawyer, one of the best constitutional lawyers that we Sierra Leone get. And he joined the civil service and government at an early age, as a young man. Now then go pick and come. As they come on university or not even come on university. Now then tell us if you have to go back home and go work. And this man served as Secretary General for ECOWAS. So he not just serve local, but he don't serve international. But I go keep for you the same way me begin question Dr. Abbas Bundu incredibility for Sierra Leone. I'll keep that low to continue. You will talk about that later. If you remember, you asked me. If you don't ask me again, nine that. But that was a signal for me, and that goes a long way. Let go. Go over to you.
Me, honestly, I don't know much about him other than he's a very good constitutional lawyer, which is true. And I know for say he served years in the ECOWAS, which is true. And I know say he play a pivotal role for interprets the Sierra Leone constitution and so many laws that we're going to Salone. That is true as well. But I think, in my opinion, this should have been the people who were responsible for sit behind the desk and make sure say Salone judiciary work. Let me tell you why. This man don't serve, if I'm not lying or if I'm correct, since the late years of Bashiki.
Say the early, yeah. Well, late years.
Mid to late years of Bashiki.
Yeah.
Yeah? So basically, he don't serve in governance for a whole heap of 40 years. I am not saying his brain is slowing down, but it should be now sitting down behind the desk and making constructive criticism to judiciary issues. Now then, for they will make reference to, okay, we will struggle for deal with this matter. Let's go and see Dr. Abbas Bundu.
Yes. For consult, you know,
Let's go and see him. Let's go and talk to him about these issues. Let's have a discussion with him. Let's engage him. Something will advise you better how to deal with the situation. Because what's the matter I say so? He might have been the brain of Sierra Leone then. But the world has changed.
Right.
The world don't evolve in so many different ways that even we at your age right now, there are certain areas that we will not touch.
Exactly.
The people when they go around, we will they pass knowledge to. You know what kind of knowledge will they pass to them? Experience. And advise them what to do so that they will not make the mistakes that we made when we were younger, like them, practicing what we are doing now.
Yep.
But failing for them to understand and realize then thing, and they say, now they want for teaching and know exactly what are the advantages and disadvantages of the field where we did, the value of the field where we did, how they're going to maintain and stay focused and still maintain their credibility. That is the only thing we should teach them.
Right.
We can't challenge their skills, we can't challenge their knowledge, we can't challenge their expertise in what is currently happening now in the world. What we can tell them, you have all the skills, but you don't have the concepts.
Right.
You have all this know-how to put things together, but you don't build a storyline around it. That is where we should come in.
Right.
So with Dr. Abbas Bundu there, now the role in Salone for being important.
Exactly.
Because you get all the young brains here, so when they come, where they do all, where they talk about all the times the way you don't want to hear yourself now your life. Because the dictionary where they use don't change. Possibly now the third version of the English dictionary they use, or fourth version now. Since then starts back in their days now Oxford University. That has changed a lot. The language is not the same anymore.
Right.
The interpretation of the language is not the same anymore. They have added more words into that Oxford dictionary that is not the same no more. So why sit in a parliament when 90% of the parliamentarians then will be you Grand Peking?
Exactly.
I don't understand that concept.
And T-Boy, you see, again, Femi says something. The people get the leaders they deserve. We get the government where we pick. And the danger behind some of these things, why people not for take them lightly. Dr. Abbas Bundu, by the Constitution of Sierra Leone, he is third in line to be the president of Sierra Leone. Okay? If we go by what's in the Constitution say, God forbid the president become incapacitated or something happen to a way disqualify him from becoming a president, the vice president, okay? And if anything happened to the vice president, what you call him? The Speaker of the House of Parliament. So you don't see, in terms of hierarchy for lead salon, he is third in command, third in line for be president of Sierra Leone. If anything, any misfortune or unfortunate situation for happen,
Chief Minister do.
No, Chief Minister and a ceremonial role down there. Except if they want for bulldoze their way and change the constitution like how they try for do so. That's the only way. But according to the Constitution of Sierra Leone, he is third in line, in terms of hierarchy. So if you deliberately they misinform people about the Constitution when you are not yet, when you are only the Speaker of Parliament, imagine what you will do if you are to become the president of Sierra Leone. And you know why it is important for let people begin think then kind of boy. See what happened at Tanzania.
Yeah, exactly.
Had someone there where they do perfectly well. All of a sudden, he was no more. The country was like, oh crap. Now our vice president is going to take over the mantle of power and become the president. People then begin, oh God, waiting what happened to Tanzania, this, that. So if you had chosen somebody where you not believe in, remember what I talk? I
You
say,
compromise for it.
Exactly, that you don't compromise the country. So this is the kind of situation. He's third in line. I just want to throw that one day in. Let people get a food for thought. Femi, you want to give it? Go ahead. You want to say something?
No, go on, Femi.
Yeah, Femi, if you want to add anything or you want to give the video, low watch up.
Okay, we can go to the video now. If you're ready.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Video now. If you're ready.
All right.
This morning, and we will continue for challenge until they correct them. Parliament is the house of laws and procedure. Now the Constitution established Parliament. Parliament not established itself. So when they do the Constitution, they get different areas of the Constitution. If you can see, we get laws where they deal with forestry, where they deal with PPRC, where they deal with NEC. They all get individual legislations. The Constitution, not just the broad outline they did. Any outfit where they create, then they get the little details. So the area we cover Parliament, now the standing orders, that the laws where they guide the regulations and operations of Parliament. And one of the things I want to remind the Speaker about today, SO43, there is a proviso to the SOD. Clear. Nobody knows say the president don't get power under 86.1 for call parliament when you wish. Nobody not say that. But two reasons, two problems. One, the SO very specific. So when the president called the speaker, say he wants an emergency sitting, then definitely the next thing will happen. The speaker for call the majority and minority leaders, the parliament, together with the clerk, and get consultations. As I talk publicly today, that not be happening. The social media will begin hearing and see things. Up to this point where they talk to us, so with all the illegalities we don't compound themselves, up to this point, nobody not consults me, and I show some of my colleagues themselves, but they will talk for themselves. But most importantly, apart from SO4B, plenty other provisions and then are the standing orders, and the constitution where they don't breach. We will not say parliament day in session until May. We just be there on recess. So if the president they call an emergency sitting now, while session day on, the only thing what he go do to the proclamation day, now the only item for the other paper. But when I see there's a minister of trade, they lay paper, they may get bill where they don't cancel cyber bill. So not all the reason where the president say parliament for sit for the first weekend and all the procedures where SO18 say you will follow in cases of statutory instruments, orders, rules and regulations have not been followed. So the other paper wrong, they're not consult, and they not do what they're supposed to do before they come. Because plenty of other issues don't get for talk about. Now only when we raise the issue, say the census where they want for conduct, as I talk to us so right now, the police they still spray pepper spray per week. Yes. They don't do it from where they come. Yes. But professionally, we don't resist and we resilient. With all them pepper spray, we still brave and we still deny because we believe in the people that they represent, and we believe say we for respect and protect the law. So basically, we position that the document that when they purport for lay not properly laid before the house, and that even if they be one for lay and properly, they not get the authority because the procedures they were for follow before they lay the paper, they not follow the procedures there. That is our position, and we will continue to educate the public and the citizens we want to represent, because we work not for represent people, for make laws and for provide oversight. In this case, we get a representative challenge. So now that's make there, and Washawn I say we will continue for be peaceful and law-abiding citizens, but it is a shame that in the well of parliament, for the second time under the SLPP government, in less than 5 years, they don't come with police at the well twice or beat MPs out of the chamber. So the point that today, the police then fetch themselves, because sometimes some not be left in the sea, they end up fetch themselves. It is a shame. We call on the police, continue on the professional, let them not say their duty, now for represent, now for protect with lives and property. Not of one person in life and property or group, now with all lives and property that to protect. But basically coming back to today, all what in them do so illegal. The minister we can lay the document, now the Attorney General. Both the Statistics Act and the Census Act of 2002, both make it clear say the definition of minister in them documents in there means the minister is responsible for development. And we don't get any information at the house where we say the Minister of Development and Economic Planning not in the country. So we don't know how the Attorney General felt himself to can lay the documents in the house. So I will stop there for now. The colleagues then
I think say we get to put a lot of things in context why the tension high. When I recall saying this same parliament passed the state of emergency law, and then promised we say they will bring regulations within 2 weeks. Regulations not until after 1 month. I mean, after almost 1 year before the regulations then come, when the state of emergency they expire. That context important. Why the opposition suspicious of waiting the law. So any violation of process or procedure, the way the leader of the opposition don't state matter. The standing order very clear. Standing order 43B, that's 43A. In the case of any emergency of which notice is given to Mr. Speaker by the President, a meeting may be summoned on such notice as Mr. Speaker may determine, in consultation with the majority and minority party leaders of the House. Very clear. We'll not get no notice. That's what we see on social media. No consultation. This na bulldozing of processes is not correct. This not for today. In the future, all them violations, yeah, somebody they do one. Another leader they can't one day, they make state of emergency and not bring regulation. You see, waiting to them, they not do one before. Same thing with this. Another leader go after 1 year, he say, I want to do census. Damn the process. Now the opposition remind government say, you know they do census without parliament. Remember the census was announced in July, not so. How many months this? Not almost 10. Why it happened? Because the opposition raised alarm, say, hey, una don't violate procedure. If you don't violate procedure 10 months, the best you can do is to consult. But the speaker they at fault also. If the leader of the opposition don't raise procedural matter, not try for bulldoze because you know the context. Call the leadership out, stand parliament down, and that's what we used to do to resolve issues. But if you get that attitude, say everything for bulldoze, people for just comply, it is wrong. It is not for today. Every bad precedent will be used in the future by a bad leader. This was wrong. Second, even with all this done, how can you deny the opposition the right to speak? How can you do that? Honestly, not also. Yes, how can you deny the leader of the opposition? Mr. Be the wait for take the floor. How can you do that? Is this a democracy? This is why we say the democracy is a threat. Really now, you're forcing through a census. This same census, where the previous one, some of you will be raised concerned then then give you full assurance, the consultant, the way all country 2015, say it was legit. This is how it was done. When you begin to force things through parliament, and not to one, it accumulated, it cause tension unnecessarily. Other issues then they on floor way, all man know say yes, the opposition concerned. Reform of the local government. We don't show the flaws, the lack of proper consultation, cybercrime day. This for concern now. That was smuggled in today. If not to have been this disruption, it would have been late today and gone. Yeah? These are things smuggled in, not correct. People, they tell we, they already feedback. Oh, now we're in governance. But hey, somebody will be in governance in 20 years. That's why procedures must be followed properly. Debate must be had. To force things through down the throats of MPs is not correct. We are not for violence. We will never support violence. We also believe procedures must be followed. I think it was incumbent on the Speaker to listen to the opposition on this matter, because we've been complaining for a long time. That's the least he could have done. That's the least. He could have stood down Parliament to say, okay, let's go and meet. We've done it before, several times, with tension day. I think the whole process was wrong. What happened today? Force will not solve our problems. It will just lay bad precedents, and I assure you, the young people, somebody will use these bad procedures one day against you. So that's what I would say. The technical issues have been explained already by the leader of the opposition.
Before he comes in, I just wanted to add something else. Thank you, Doc. One thing also that is very clear in the Statistics Act, that council, there are two key people who are members of that council. One of them happens to be your president, the president of SLAG. He's a member, so you must ask him questions. What procedures have they followed? Why are they at this point? Whether he has been consulted. Because he's there representing you. He should be coming back to SLAG to explain. The UNDP is also a member. So the UNDP, some of us will be engaging them. We want to know what their take is. What role did they play? Were they part of the council that met? Were they part of the decisions? This is something I wanted to bring to the moment.
Very undemocratic, because in democratic society, I believe in dialogue, negotiations are one thing and the way democracy teaches to. If we get indifferences, we talk to ourselves so that we'll be able to understand ourselves and then we move on. This issue about the laying of paper, first of all, there was a proclamation. where give power to census, to statistics for let them start the process of cartographic mapping. And now then they bring another proclamation now because the leader of the opposition will not raise and say the process is done. Now then they lay up today. Several questions they were supposed to ask. But because of this disruption, we were able to ask them questions a day. Because if that's not the case, then they just delay the paper now. Then what will happen to the fundings where they don't spend before? We will declare them fundings and they say they're illegal or they're legal. Because if they're now on the table, then that's not one. And then these questions them way the opposition leader don't ask. For me, in my opinion, beside democracy, they at right play, the speaker for don't stand down the parliament. For me, squarely, I hold responsible the speaker of putting all transparent today. They don't do leadership. They don't do justice to the opposition party members. Because even for don't just stand down parliament, they engage with the leadership. Waiting at the indifferences where they get them, clean them up, and then we come back to the chamber. This not the first time, it don't happen before, and this also not going to be the last time. But waiting amazed me more than the presence, the heavy presence of the police force into this place. It just appears like say the police and pass even the members of parliament in the process of one, which also they not tell well on the democracy in this country. Very, very bad, and then not a good example. Just in these 5 years, we don't get the same thing, we don't have this at the second time. We need to let the public know say this.
Well, Fambulem, that's now the press conference segment of the press conference where leaders of the opposition parties. We see Honorable Cheno Ramadan Majuba and the Honorable Dr. Kande Yunkela and another gentleman. I apologize, we're not able to forget his name, so we don't want to say, but my assumption is I think he's part of the C4C. We then do a press conference for explain their own position on the issue we happened yesterday in our parliament. We want for again give credit to AYV Media, Empire for this video. They have complete 100% credit on that. It's not a material, it's a borrowed material just for the purpose of today's event program. Sorry. Tibo and Femi, when I don't watch this press conference, I'm sure it would don't put some perspective or give us some highlights. What jumps to mind? What would you want to say about now that we're hearing from the opposition? And you, Tibo, you say you watched the press conference with the Speaker of Parliament, Dr. Abbas Bundu. We may not fortunate to watch. So, what's your take so far?
It's chalk and cheese. Yours and mine.
Okay.
And if you have one man speaking and you have 3 people speaking on the same issue of their rights, who do you believe? So make your opinion.
Majority rated.
Well, this is not about just majority. You not go lie per one person.
No, say you go lie per one person.
Well, you not go lie per one person because why I say you not go lie per one person? I mean, because when you lie per one person,
for one person can lie per you, but 3 people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, they get leaders of the opposition and the minority and other leaders of different other political parties telling you, the Speaker of Parliament, that they only hear about this meeting on social media.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to stay in an APC party because now they're not a hatch rival and they're not the problem, but what can you say about NGC? NGC is saying the same thing. The other people we talk about they say the same thing on social media. They see them. Yeah.
And they always say the Speaker of Parliament have the rights. They have given you a monopoly rights, and they even tell you, say you have the right to stand down Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you need?
And go consult.
So he the Trafford say he doesn't want to stand down Parliament. He wants those bills to be passed. Period.
Right.
Whether you like it or not, I'm not going to stand down Parliament like Dr. Kande say. It has happened in the past. They've raised concern on certain issues, and you don't stand down Parliament, and then they'll go consult, and then come back and deliberate. So basically, if all is about consultation, I mean, people are being paid serious amount of money in Sierra Leone for being consultant. I always ask, what is una the consult? Because if you consult for build bridge and the bridge not build, what did you consult on? If you consult for build school, the school not build, what did you consult on? If you consult for make road, the road not make, what did they consult on? Because I don't understand why people say, oh, me a consultant. I've got a consultancy firm. Because as the Speaker of Parliament, you are the lead consultant in that particular environment. It means you are in the pivotal position for communicate with everybody who sit down and tell them, say, this is the way forward, this is what we're going to do next, and this is what we're going to do today. Is anybody in this room that is not agreeing to what we are saying? Please say so. Let's have a discussion. Now, you're not the person to get our authority today. And all man, they tell you, say, you get the rights. This is possibly a monopoly, guys, which something your president never forgets. Because all man don't tell you, say, you have the right to stand down Parliament. Why didn't you do it?
And you're a constitutional lawyer as well.
Well, only two things.
If people been get doubts, but the constitution, middle net, what I will call, I say, okay, well, T-boy, I know sabi about constitution. They are big, tell me, but he was, hey, Juba, na. Go to Dr. Abbas Bundu. Now they champ the constitution. They don't need for open the constitution. So able for tell you side chapter waiting day, this, that, I will interpret it for you word for word. But now, even the young powers them, if they run away from
exactly,
this, you get the power that say pack by you. If this na you enjoy them, do what you want for do. Test of the country. You decide.
But I don't even know what to say, man. To be honest to you, it gets to the point where I think I should be asking myself so many questions. Why do people go to universities and educate themselves? Is it just because they want to attain certain qualifications and everybody knows about those qualifications and that's it? And when it comes in reality for them to actually interpret, they don't. Somebody asked me a few days ago, he said, we try for execute certain laws in a salon. And we were in the diaspora. Now we are the people that will go break the law in a salon. But we don't
jog the word anymore.
We don't break those laws in the diaspora. Why? Now because salon are dirty box, we go clean it. We don't need salon for the dirty box.
Right.
So let me just try for do what you feel to say that the right thing. It might not suit everybody. But let's just do the right thing. If the right thing for the landman for benefits, do it.
America can say in the interest of the country, in the interest of the nation.
Yeah, they always tell me that politics is about interest. Sorry. And the interest in politics is primarily, as far as me concerned, is your party and individuals. Nobody cares about the others.
Right. Labring Femi, you don't watch the the extract from the press conference. What's your take?
Hello, Juma. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah, what can I say? The problem, I don't know, the problem I'll miss Siam, it's I hear waiting at the scene. The man then gets all the power in the world for do the right thing. But again, how many times have we said that? And not to just but him, but all of our leaders, These guys have the power, they have the opportunity to do good. Yes, Rome wasn't built in a day. We'll not expect, say, then get a magic wand, we then go with them and all things go clear like daylight. But small, they've come into power 3 years ago, and up to now, we don't see nothing. At least if small thing in the happen change, we for the appreciate. They're not able for justify anything within they do with rights. This is the current government. Now going to the opposition. APC number 1 are part of the problem. Because for 3 years APC don't sit down, no they say anything. You cannot be the opposition and not oppose when things and they go wrong. They mean they see things and they go wrong, then sit quietly. People and they say they mean the ones for make them give the government chance for rule. But are you going to give us in chance where they make mistakes them, and say they make mistakes and you want to talk? Then now you can't talk. The other party are not going to talk much for them because they're very, very few. We know that 2 particularly and truly control Sierra Leone. So really and truly in this country where they so, if conservative within power now do something wrong, then step out of line, trust me, Labour will be on the next like a Rottweiler for point out the wrong way they do. Elect after the next day after they just win a landslide election. In America, same thing. In Italy, in France, we don't even see them consider in effect, then go fit safe. You understand? From day one, we sit down, we allow things then for build up and build up and build up till we don't get to USA with this right now. So really and truly, I believe
they allow them to become comfortable.
Yes. So I believe really and truly, all the speakers that we are so from today, they speak fine. Then point out certain valid points them. But again, me I ask them, maybe they all go back inside themselves and go ask themselves why didn't they make some of the statements they also when the current administration then begin do wrong. The people of Sierra Leone deserve better. We elect UNA, and why they say we elect UNA, I know they talk about the government, they talk about the parliamentarians them for represent the community the way UNA stand for. Things then they go wrong down our communities them UNA know they say nothing. Then now UNA can begin turn table and turn chair and course and make all kind of noise. It's a little bit too late. So I hope say if then they listen to me or other people them, then go learn for deal with things them with the thing and the happen and not sweep her under the carpet.
Okay. Well, that's Femi in your own statement as well. Thank you so much. And again, then say, I can say, and I know Pula Paibule not appropriate for this kind of program, but then can say, okay, I use this other one. Then say, waiting sweet goats, now in the running belly. That's the reality. And we don't allow, like Femi say, we allow things like this don't happen for a long period of time. And now look at where we are.
Get some blackouts.
Yeah. Hey, na Bintimani.
Lights don't go.
Light don't go. So now the Bintimani blackout now gets.
Lights don't care.
Light don't care.
Yes.
Okay.
No, but again, you see, we laugh about saying that they've been too many blackout, but that was a risk situation.
Oh, yes.
That was a dangerous situation because what could have happened could have been worse. And we don't possibly see murder on live television in Sierra Leone.
Yep.
Imagine that.
You turn off the lights, then you get security personnel, then they pepper spray people inside yonder. And you, the speaker, you roll for ensure the safety and security of every parliamentarian. That's one of your role, for make sure say then safety it come first. But like how T-Boy say earlier, you compromise them. You compromise them, you compromise people them, you carry them go some side, you create a scenario for cause more problem. Who knows who side that thing they forbid all lead yesterday? Who knows? Let's say if that incident they been come out outside the place the way they've been called parliament. If you been come outside, the jump outside, let's say everybody been getting supporter out here, what that would have led to. These are the questions we ask ourselves for things that we sometimes we want for, like how Femi say, we would sweep under the carpet. And look how we don't grow for be a monster where now we struggle for deal with. Now make it say sometimes you have to nip it in the bud. Usai begin happen, now they deal with them. Right there and then. Put a stop to them, make let it continue again. But we are waiting the opposition people then say. This now simple black and white. Waiting the constitution say, waiting parliamentary procedure say, waiting understanding orders then say. You get all them here. You not get for go buy on a bookshop, say you get for go order on Amazon, say it come before you read them, interpret them. It's right there before you. This time you go sleep with day in, day out. So the point I want for say earlier, where you talk about the diaspora, T-boy. Where Femi talk about, now you talk about the diaspora.
Yeah.
Again, I want for come and vindicate the people when they say, oh, we get problem na salon because the people are illiterate. Now lie. All the people who don't see where they create problems for that country. Now we where they claim say we go school, we sabi read and write. Who that the way educated, rich Dr. Abbas Bundu na Sierra Leone?
You.
When you talk about education,
I say you.
Yeah, well, it's all right, yeah. But if they talk about notable Sierra Leoneans, academics, this, that, intellectuals, now that country, one of the first names, they call 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 names, call Dr. Abbas Bundu.
No, doing it then again, you can get Dr. Abbas Bundu, Dr. Salia Jusuf Sharif, Joe Amara Bangali, Joe Jackson, Abdul Karim Kuruma, Itsem Bufona, and Abdullah Conte. These were the names. And when they call it, these are all either Oxford or Cambridge or wherever graduates them. We get some up there. They make the grade now.
And he was one of the youngest among them as well.
Outstanding.
Bluffman Bako.
Come on, man.
They say get command of the English language.
Well,
be the law. Now you're not Speaker of Parliament who side in the House where they make the laws of Sierra Leone. Then you broko the law. You tell you not afraid God, but you tell say the Constitution is supreme.
In your interpretation.
Yeah, but you don't want to do what in the Constitution say, the Supreme Constitution.
It is sad. It is sad.
It is
people always say, they use the Constitution of Sierra Leone to your advantage. We abuse them when we want for abuse them. With the legislator, we want for legislator, which I think is wrong.
Right.
Because anytime we issue for another parliament, now they say, all man, they use the Constitution. Well, now this the Constitution say. Now that the Constitution say, we don't go by the Constitution. We go by the Constitution. This person get the mandate for do so. He get the mandate for do that. Really? Only when it matters to them? But when it matters to the civilians, then the people in the way the Constitution for actually take effect on is negative. Come on, man.
And we programs that we don't do for the past weeks get for do with the justice system, the Constitution, law and order, and respect for the citizens of Sierra Leone. If you watch now, the common theme that one day. So, like how Femi say, this is not new. It's been happening, but people in the lock, they hide them. If you go shoot somebody, you kill them because you say like gear and phone for land issue. Now, because if you see, you get away with that. And trust me, this has been the problem where they are not able for. I don't defend this thing, but now they struggle for answer that question. People, you got people who are not to traditionally you will say, okay, now diasporans, but not to people that were too much or involved with the day-to-day, political activities or happenings in Sierra Leone, okay? The way things happen, you send them to the, oh, but this don't happen, this, that. But what will happen? They send above case, they say Salone, if anything like this happen, nothing is going to come out of it anyway, so why bother talk about it? Before I mean, be passionate for explain. But now Mr. said, don't begin the well, because I don't run out of explanation now. Because the same thing, then they point to you, okay, but when this be happen, now this should be said. Nothing came out of it. And this back happened, nothing came out of it. So now so go hear back.
So who's time that the time where you lost trust for Dr. Abbas Bundu?
Okay. The time where I begin doubt, if you say you don't forget.
No, I don't forget.
All right. Listen, like I tell you, he's one person I'd admired from a distance for a long period of time. You see him, I remember he be the kind of circular road. He's always in his whites, look neatly dressed. You see him, he can't in Benz. You enjoy for see young man. You say, oh, okay.
What's he really looking at circular road?
I don't go say, but I think. Oh, okay, let's say this one are public because in party office, he had his own political party, right?
No.
Okay, he began his own political party, now Circular Road, 139 Circular Road. That's where his party office was. Where multi-party.
139?
139 Circular Road, yes.
That's what
That's where his party office was. Okay? Now, if you have a leader waiting else, there. Like this, but
really?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
So now the party office been there, so he always comes there and all of that. So they admire because we're neighbors.
What's not being party and making if I can recall possible no?
CDC, Center for Democratic Change, something along those lines. Yeah. So in party office been there, and but. I started doubting him in 1997 when we get the AFRC coup. Okay? The first coup post-multi-democracy after NPRC, which we call them. 1997. And when they talk about this consultation business for go ask, Abbas Bundu's them at the time, the Abbas Bundu, the late John Khalifa Smart, and all of them people. Now, they one day, the one with them they refer to as Junta boys, the AFIC, the one they make the coup. The likes of Abbas Bundu, them now then go there, you understand, for like I say, okay, we will advise you because they don't overthrow late Tijan Kabayan government. Then ECOWAS don't pull a statement for say you have to return the country back to the democratically elected government, okay? And ECOWAS give conditions and ultimatums say, if we not do this, and this, there will be an ECOWAS intervention, sending in ECOMOG troops to Sierra Leone. Abbas Bundu, now, being one of the people that will convince the AFRC people and say, they're not going to do nothing. ECOWAS will not interfere into a domestic issue. And you know why he be fly with that? Because he had served as Secretary General to ECOWAS. And then people here believe, say, he knows ECOWAS in and out. Whatever he says will stick. Not true. So it come back to the same thing when I talk about consultation. And you see, he used the constitution, both the Salon constitution and international treaties or documents them for mislead people them where I go say he's one of the people who contribute for the loss of so many lives in 1997. This is nothing personal. This is not first. So when that thing that me on radio and watch him on television, When they tell people, they assure AFRC people, them say, ECOWAS no go do nothing. So that was the time where me begin lost confidence in. I was like, I'm not going to talk about the other one where it happened when he was foreign minister of foreign affairs, because people are blaming him. Do you know that before 1990 something, Sierra Leoneans get visa-free access to the United Kingdom? You know that, right?
Of course, right up to 1995.
Right. So people are attributing the blame to Abbas Bundu, say, na him encourage for pass the law for let become for let get visa. But that one in a rumor, I know they go into that one day. Okay, but so many other things that don't happen. Recently, this parliament where Abbas Bundu, they make them they beat so they go pepper spray. Then vote for let them give Abbas Bundu in property them back where Tijan Kaba in government been seized now and because they say they sell salon passports. So you don't see the issues of integrity. Just recently, 2 weeks ago, now in the past, what you call them a law where they agree for give in host them back where they been seized now and the same parliament will make them the pepper spray. So if you ask me, that 1997 incident was the key for me. I don't know, as if they smile, I don't know what you want for say.
I just want to remind you about integrity. What I talk say, you know, not so now we for begin, all them people are so responsible.
True.
If these things were all true back then, why we allow such people then for hold certain offices in our land?
Again, it comes to the same thing where I talk, say, a lot of people think, say, Salon political history or what you call and started in April of 2018. Over to you, T-Boy. You ask a question, I don't know if I answer
you don't give me more than the answer. But I think I'm aware of two of the incidents apart from the first one we mentioned, because unfortunately, I know Millie Salon during that particular period, we mentioned the AFRC incidents we happened, we get for on radio and confront.
But not on radio, but Ina be the consultant. He was part of Ina be the lead negotiator. Him and Professor Karifa Smart. Now then the junta people then put and now they assure them say when they do them press release, then talk and say then people here tell them say you cannot, ECOWAS not get the mandate and the right for intervene into Sierra Leone.
But ECOWAS did eventually.
Exactly. And a lot of lives were lost.
Okay, so now I don't see to come out from waste since I did begin lost trust farm. But you also get this scandal of the passport being sold to Lebanese people or other people and we're not being actually entitled to Salon passport. When you make mention, say, Naina the person where make them stop for the where they make Salon people and start for take visa for come London. How?
Well, I know they say I say Naina be the foreign minister. So people attribute that to him because he not negotiate in the best interest of Sierra Leoneans.
But those incidents happen where they say, well, I am aware of one because by then I was in the UK. And they make mention saying that because many passport holders coming into the UK were not really Sierra Leoneans.
And Uda then accuse sell Salon passports, if not to him, now President Madabio. So you don't see the connection again, like I say, just follow the storyline, things will come out. So if now just here say, may you be doubt, now you don't ask another question, we don't lead to that, because there are documents which show say, where indeed they agree and say, he and President Madabio now, when I've been then be involved in selling Sierra Leone passports. And President Madabio now say, oh, Nati where they happen all over the world. Just like how they say now, oh, parliaments and effects all over the world, not to salute the begin. Go ahead.
Well, again, I just guess there's a few things here, so because like Femi say, we need to get people with integrity. Because if I am part of certain organizations, certain people will not lead me. I walk away or I make myself dormant. Because if you lead me, you for better pass me in so many different ways. In when it comes to integrity, you for the think rationally, you forget some qualities that we may not get to make I believe in you. So sometimes it is a struggle for me to get people that really take up leadership positions in certain organizations or institutions, and we forget their past because we need to actually cross-check their CVs. We need to question their appointments. We need to scrutinize, okay, you have done X and Y 5 years ago. What you will guarantee say you will not do the same thing here today as we are now? If you've been accused for a crime that you did not commit, have you washed your hands or have you cleared that doubt within the minds of the people who are going to employ you now? Because if I am concerned about your employment, it means I am concerned of your deliverables. So it brings a lot of questions into why specifically they decided for Abbas Bundu for Kam take control of this current parliament. Taking into consideration with all the informal activities the way the whole Sierra Leone say if you don't engage in, taking into consideration majority of the accusations the way it don't make, and they can't sit in a parliament where now they can possibly legislate the running and puts together the current affairs of what they happen in our country. Now they say, well, this is for rubber stamper. Now they say, well, this will not be rubber stamper. Now they say, well, this is for discussant. This will not discussant. I watched him at one point and he speaks to one of the ministers, and I mean the parliamentarians, and say, you are the only give you 1 minute and make it.
You got that power there.
Really? Yeah. So if you give somebody for can respond to a discussion where go take a minimum of 10 minutes just for explain without even you making your conclusion, what is 1 minute?
Right.
So it basically tell you say, I'm not even going to allow you to talk. And as we hear from Dr. Kande, how can you refuse the microphone to the leader of the opposition?
Yes.
Let's say, for example, you have two people where they sit down at this particular room. One is on the left and one is on the right. And you refuse the one at the left for talk because you sit down on the right. So how are you going to have a dialogue? Because that's not a dialogue. It's a one-man show.
And T-Boy, the disappointing part of that situation, the waiting the two, what you call it, the leader of the opposition and leader of the NGC, Dr. Kande Mkelase and Honorable Chairman Ramadan Majuba, that in so many occasions, in as much as it can be uncomfortable, but they're ready for go consult in the interest of moving things forward. So they don't do this so many a time. Why? A census document, we done there for over 10 months, only become emergency after we're doing parliamentary recess. We parliament there on recess. Waiting just make an emergency overnight that for say if the census not happen, if they not pass that document date today, that's the end of it. And who needs a midterm census anyway? Census, we don't know, say now every 10 years because it's expensive. It's not cheap. Census is very, very expensive. We can't not get money for us. With the crisis COVID day, work not there for people left. Then the priority now for go count aid. If they're going to you host T-Boy, you hear your family when the swell a breeze. Then the post is like, well, I come on our government, then send me for can come to now. What would you do? When you remember you picking it, how I eat, made that. They all they surround you. Then they watch you like cow, what you call up, eagle, and they watch.
I'll give you an example. A few days ago, somebody knocked me door, and I opened. A young lady standing at the door and saying, "Oh, hi." Show me a badge. My name is Sarah. I'm here to conduct the census. But guess what? Have you received this letter? I'm like, no, I'm not too sure. Okay, do you want one now? I'm like, why do I need one now? So because you need to log on to it and then be counted. I'm like, what do you mean? Okay. Do you want me to send it on your phone? I said, why do you need to send it on my phone? I can give you my email address. No, it's quicker on your phone. Yeah. One person. How many people lives in the UK? How many million? Is it 25 or 30 million people that lives in London? Oh, yeah, about that. 25 or 30 million people that lives in London. London, only London, right? And you possibly have one person that is running around, not even running, walking at their own pace for cover a mile radius within my community. One person. All she does, knock at your door and register your name or your contact details on her phone and send you an electronic document. You know what census is? Census is not just about counting people.
No.
Do we really understand the reason for census? I don't think we do, because people in the area say, oh, census, they come every 10 years. They don't even know why it comes every 10 years.
Exactly.
This is what people should know. We for begin educate we Sierra Leoneans, then we feel say they know so much, because then they talk about census, but then they actually break down why we for count people. Why would they conduct census? Census is not just about counting people.
No.
It's a strategic way of collecting data.
Data for
community.
Exactly.
It can be useful for any purpose.
Yeah.
Medically, physically, financially, emotionally, because the questions that you are asked on a census sheet has nothing to do with you as a person living in that house. It has to do with you, the people that comes to your house, the family that you have, your gender, your lifestyle, whether you drink, whether you smoke, who's you born, who's you come out, when you come, who's you come out, where you can in this country. It means a lot. It's a proper demographic and social census. Means your entire demography as a person and your entire livelihood as a person is what you're going to write down on that particular census sheet. It will take you literally 10 minutes online. Now you take census, go to that man within a village bar. The one way they can conduct the census, what in then at the census form, where then they actually begin come towards you. Right. Because the king they can't speaking per census. Now you they put you picking per census. Because they didn't ask speaking say
head of household.
Thank you. Do we understand all that?
Nice.
And do we know the reason why they conduct census every 10 years?
Well, but again, like how they say, it's not something that is cheap. So if then they do have every 10 years with a struggle, then you want for Kankota, you say they do midterm census. For can do waiting for God's sake. The data where you meet first, the one where you meet, you never do nothing with them. You never make excuse. You say you don't take 3 years to study the country. All the promises that you make based on the existing census where you meet, you don't do nothing. You say, well, we never study the country. We try for no. Now we don't study. We will begin to put things into action. Then we go do another census for full of that. Or possibly it's just to create job for the boys.
Yeah, but even if they're trying to create job for the boys, I think it can be done in a better way, because as far as me concerned, I spoke with somebody today that is arguing me on the basis of job creation and increase of salary. And I asked him a simple question. Do you run a business, right? And he goes, yes. Okay. You have a business structure and you don't already put about £10,000 into your business. So, yes, you get how many staff? 10 staffs. Okay, you pay your staff them £100 per week, right? You say yes. Okay, now you get 10 grand as your budget. You get 10 staff. You just struggle for pay you 10 staff them £100 a week. You just struggle. There are times when you pay them for 3-4 months. You just struggle. You want to tell me, say, if you didn't have that process day, you do go back and go train another extra 20 people, and when you don't train the extra 20 people also, you they increase salary for the 10-way day? How can you work that out? Because as far as me concerned, there is no way you to get a business, you to struggle for pay your staff, and you to go train more staff, and then you to increase salary for the one that we already get. And you not get the budget to do that. So how can you operate in such situation? So I tell the person, say, bruh, me, I need to argue with you. I only need to know few basics. Because if you're able to answer them few basics, then you go able to justify your argument, say, the president get right for increased salary. There is nothing wrong with that. Well, if you increase salary, and then you get people that when they get paid. As some people that when a million personal family members, then we get pinned. They are teachers, they are lecturers, they are doctors, they are nurses, and they're not getting paid. Why? Oh, they don't give you pin, but we name not in a pay list yet. So why?
Why they give pin in the first place?
Why you they get pin? Why you name not in a pay list yet? So now, like way England say, oh, we don't cost down unemployment, or we don't increase the rate of employment. And how did they do that? Again, the same dodgy stuff, but when you get an opposition which strong enough, they will counter on you. They've cut down unemployment. How? By registering people who are running their own business as employed. That's one. And two, they create a universal credit system where still they class you to be employed.
Because you get money from the government.
Thank you. So then they still class you as employed because you get money from the government. So then feel say you still the work. So you are registered as an employer, somebody where they work for government. Mm-hmm. And the opposition say, hell no, you can't do that. Because that person really work. You give them a minimum allowance where they just, they even do for feed in picking self.
Right.
And they want class that person they under a category of people they were employed. It doesn't work like that.
All right.
So it is so confusing. Very confusing. Look, we don't make simple issues then become complex issues that we don't able to deal with. Because if we want to run certain institutions there, we don't need to begin think beyond reasonable doubt. And then I argue this person back again. He said, oh, T-boy, what's it make we do things then the right train us alone? I said, because I believe in three things. And if those three things don't exist in Sierra Leone, it will be a big problem for Sierra Leoneans to survive or to succeed in anything you want to do. He said, what in? I said, justice, security, and open floor plan for everybody for engage.
Mm-hmm. Open playing field. Yeah.
He said, what do you mean? And after I don't talk, he said, man, Salon are the most disruptive country, disorganized. I'm like, you they talk, you they argue, and you they say the same thing, say there is no structure. How do you think a sensible person go on that particular side where you say so, not get no structure, and you expect them to survive?
Yeah. So you know, you saying that, it come back to the same thing where Dr. Kandayum Kela say. Because if we make them in the bigger picture, then yesterday, again, I make us say the problem, not to the one they know land book. And we will feel say we land book where they mislead. You had people, you see people and sometimes not even know their role. You get the other members of parliament where now the SLPP where they are the government, okay? You see, they were like, now then have been the marshal them for protect the Speaker of the House condoning him to do bad things, to do illegal stuff. And everything kind of him say, he say governments get for change. Femi be saying this 2 weeks ago. We talk about Femi, you sure you're not too emotional? But listening to this, you know, just to tell you the severity of the things, how people know they think beyond their nose. Governments get for change. When government change, they do the same thing to you. What would you do? Because if una they come say, oh, APC been do this, but they don't can do 5 times worse than waiting APC be they do. So let's say APC comes back to power in 2 years, or even whenever, okay, the Salone people choose, and they do 10 times worse than what you're doing. What would you say? Or what would your family members say? Because some of them, they think, say, oh, then they make them now, they not get for Didi again. And this is the mistake a lot of Sierra Leoneans are making. They set a ceiling for ourselves, and I don't see this, and I always they say, they set a cap, a ceiling, say, now yeah, na me level this I get for reach. So they do everything for reach here. The way you don't reach there now, you're like, oh, damn, I want to go above. But the things that we don't do for this, reach at this level, the danger we don't cause, the harm we don't cause. Now you wonder why people know they support you for going at the other level.
But again, then they reach certain level and then believe they can walk away.
With that, exactly.
We don't see Bokutem. But I don't think this time people will be walking away from that situation.
That would be a mistake.
Because again, the world is a global village now.
Mm-hmm.
So you can walk away from civilian, but you cannot walk away from the world.
Yes.
Because not just civilians are watching, but the world is watching.
Sure.
And when the world is watching you, it's different from when just your country is watching you.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Mickey always say, you don't only go outside now this wall. I don't say special, but on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Passive, they don't want to see you. They choose not to see you.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't hide.
Simple example.
You can't.
What's the guy name? One of the guys that the Sierra Leonean guy, for the rebel business, you know, within the China, Finland. You see, side and go catch her. Don't go other side there, don't make. If you say go Finland, is safe. And then go crime and poop, it's okay. You can't sit down also now for war crimes. You don't tell what they look for you. So yeah, where they are so low, we try you now for the crime. Not only for what happened at Salono, this time for the what happened at Liberia. How many years? We don't say we war started 30 years ago. It ends, you know, after 11 years. And Liberia, you start before we, you know, by 1 or 2 years. Yeah. So you see the tell where they can catch them. How many years later? Where they can catch almost 30 years later. Where you feel say you don't get away, you don't walk away from everything. They go start a new life for yourself. Finland, they say, Paddy man can have us, but can be answer question which you been do 30-something years ago or 20-something years ago. So if you think you're going to walk away, because again, this is for our diaspora, our compatriots there, we feel say, then they go there, enable bad things, disrupt the system, mess them up for people, them, do dangerous things, them. How can you? Anyway, I've been disappointed at Dr. Abbas Bundu, but I'm more disappointed now. I know lie by you.
You're more disappointed at him or them?
At him particularly. Because he has no excuse. You sabi the law. You sabi salon politics. You will class yourself as being a victim. You self don't victimize people. You know what it's like to be on both ends. They don't seize you passports and deprive you travel in that country there. Where you seek, even go for medical, you have to go and go seek permission. And it's not all that person do have on SLPP government and then do it to us, so not to APC. I just want to say, clarify, because people again don't understand these things. Not so APC be seizing also that SLPP that is seizing us. SLPP government that is seizing us. That them seizing passport.
Okay, now SLPP government seizing us. But now Papa that they can get this back in.
Yes. So you understand, eh? So you don't know what it tell like all them kind thing here. You come, you deal with people the way. And I don't see, trust me, we don't see how, the opposition don't told bad name for them, say, now then they enable them for do the bad things, anything way one time they happen. But because, like what they say, then compromise in the interest of the country, but look how you pay people back. And these people have constituents where they get for answer to. But like how you say, we hope when they don't start so, they will not only wait when it happens to parliament. Not to only way happen at parliament. We don't see so many things, and we don't ask now. So if parliament get right, especially with the corruption business, if parliament get right for say no, we know they approve budgets. Let the people
I think they get a right enough for approve budget.
Oh yeah, then get them. So for let the people of Sierra Leone understand, say we know they approve this budget because if we approve them, then they deprive on more. So all of these things, and I hope this will be the turning point. Let's try for make a last word then for today's program. I've been supposed to call, a member of parliament, but it's all late now. We will try for see if we will get on another day for can talk to her about some of the issues here. So, and especially that first question we ask, why?
They're going to have been too many.
They're going to have been too many. So time for people for explain and better to we. Apologies. We try for call them, but unable to get them. We will reach out to them. So let's give you last word then for today's program and round up. Over to you.
I think we will continue for getting kind of discussion there, so, and we will continue for holding kind solo talk there, so. And there are times when we want the community to be involved. There are times when we don't want the community. We just want them to listen to some of the discussion they talk about, because we get for make sure they get involved in the other one the way they come up. Because what you do, everybody get their opinion about certain things, and everybody in your opinion value. But doesn't mean your opinion is right. Doesn't mean your opinion right. But would they respect everybody's opinion? Opinion is opinion, but the law is the law. Yes. The Constitution stands for serve every Sierra Leonean, not just few Sierra Leoneans. The Constitution stands for defend every Sierra Leonean, not just few Sierra Leoneans. The Constitution is the Bible of Sierra Leone. Just like you get a Bible for the Christians, you get the Quran for the Muslims. The Constitution is the manual that we follow for like we're on the right path, for like Salon better, for like Salon proceeds, for like Salon gain, for like Salon get the highest height of its potential. But if we continue for the bring the Constitution into disrepute, if we continue for the interpret the Constitution for make it suit we comfort, if we continue for make the Constitution we own personal books, I don't think we're helping the people of Sierra Leone. If we were Sidom, not know about the law, not know about the Constitution, not to we write them, not to we interpret them, not to we they execute them, but most of we can sit and read it. And we're able to understand the concept between voting right and voting wrong based on the Constitution. I feel say the one that we don't work on them, we don't read them, we don't interpret them, we don't have to execute some of the duties of the Constitution should know better than us. So education is not just for the fact that you get for going to class, university, or you go to school for learn something. That's not just the end of education. Now, how you interpret them. The reason we get Gucci, we get Versace, we get Gianfranco Vanni. These are all individuals, but different style in design concepts. Different style in choosing the type of fabric that they use, in choosing the type of cuts of their clothes, in choosing the type of designers then where they put them pieces here together. Now, they all carry different names. But when you say, this is the national team of Sierra Leone, it means you bring in all those different players and put them together and get the best way they represent the country. So when you have a book that serves the nation, they will respect the book. The calamities they already seen in the world today where they happen, not a mistake. Because we get the Christians the way they abuse the Bible, we get the Muslims the way they abuse the Quran. When the Christians they abuse the Bible, what thing they call them, Juma? Femi, what thing they call them?
Blasphemers or what thing?
Femi, answer me question, please. No, I just want to justify a few things. And when the Muslims and they abuse the Quran, what do they call them, Juma?
It's Quran Kufar.
Thank you. And what's not the extreme of what's in the refer to them right now? Because that's not in the Quran.
Those are terrorists.
They call them terrorists. Mm-hmm. So we get to look at the simple context and day of how people abuse the books of nations. When Hitler abused the book of the Germans and he wasn't even German, he created a world war. So we got to be very mindful. When the white people abuse black people and turn them into slavery, we revolt where we forget the light of Schengen Piers and the others, and the Baibures, and the Kailundus, and the Dawers. And these people only reacted to suppression. They only reacted to extreme form of abuse, to their own privacy and their own systems. Now everybody is screaming Black Lives Matter. You know why? Because 30 years ago, Black lives was zero. You can kill 1 million black people and nothing will come out of it. But do you know why Black Lives Matters now? Because we are representing ourselves in positions that are relevant. So when a black man sits on the table with people who execute the law, he represents his community. When a black man represents the biggest nation of the world, America, the normal status quo of how you look at these things will slightly change. It will not change entirely, but it will come to a time when it will change. In the UK, it's not the same like it used to be 30 years ago. So we got to understand, say, some of these manuals have been created way before, but then they review them. I was in my lectures today and somebody raised concerns about ethnic minority and tolerance within the industry that I serve. And you know what some of the students then say? They say it is not going to change that easily. Now we're there now. Now we get for change some of them text and they where we don't put in them particular books and they because it don't do for time immemorial. The university they complain about sexism, discrimination. But guess what in university they put in the walls? Movies, film stars that are highly rated as film stars and movies that perpetuate discrimination and sexism. Now the posters they're still on the walls of the university. To the extent that even the password for the Wi-Fi now the university is so sexist. But somebody come and say, we waiting now we generation. Now we for change them words then they. Now we for begin rewrite the new books of the industry. Because they claim, say, there are no female DOPs, there are no female directors, there are no female this and that. If we continue for the complaint, we don't make the changes, we don't rewrite the books, the narrative will be the same. So we cannot sit back as Sierra Leoneans, whether we are in Sierra Leone or not, we still have a role to play in terms of making contributions, meaningful ones, that can enhance the life of Sierra Leoneans. Because if we sit back and don't do nothing, we need to do ourselves a favor. We didn't do ourselves a favor at all, because there will come a time when it will bite us. What thing that happens so right now at Salon Parliament is not an error, not a mistake. Now the negligence of the authorities they hold on get when they take stance for certain things then when they don't left and say it don't reach to this end. Now I make we get this flashback now with the camp that we face.
Right.
With generation for sit for wait for make it get worse. I think we need to stand up and do something. We are not preaching violence, we're not preaching revolution. But if we preach industrial revolution, it means we have to change certain industries productively by putting the right people in the right position. Like Femi say, we deserve what we have. But we can change that. Not by force, but look, we educate the one way feel say get education, but they need to use them properly. Maybe they go understand. Because in life is a vicious circle. Look, we make a very tolerant circle. So we give way for the younger ones to come and take our positions whilst we are stepping up into other positions. Let us be the advisory board for the younger generation so that they can learn from our mistakes. They will not do the same mistakes. So let's put our hands together and make Sierra Leone a better place for every Sierra Leonean. Over to you, Juma.
Thank you so much, T-Boy. You try for bring different things for let people understand the bigger conversation here. You might want to limit it to what happened in Parliament or what's happening in Sierra Leone, but as a people, we have to think outside the box and able to know what would they do with it for we. Over to you, Femi.
Hi, Juma.
Yes.
So thank you guys. I think say just not Tibo make a salient point. Actually, you make a few. So make I not even pick on one. Really and truly, I think say over the last few months, almost a year, we don't sit on this platform and we keep saying, waiting we leaders then for make we country better. For we people that we did it, for we there abroad, we no one sit down and inside the house on the wall and we want for return to Sierra Leone. We dey plead. But yet, every day we wake up, na new story. Last week, we dey talk about this is and Andy. Weekend come, we get other issue. Monday come, we see feds na Parliament. It's like, really and truly, it's like one step forward, two steps back, but I'm not even sure about the one step forward. But let's get and dandy. I don't really know what to say. When I talk about this whole visa problem for England, I came to England in the 80s. So, and while I came, I not been need visa. I came to Gatwick, then stamping 6 months visa on my passport, and I stayed, and I renewed my visa, changed into student visa. I go college. I had no issues. A few years later, all things change. So I don't know if not Dr. Abbas Bundo, but as Juma say, if he was in the position at the time, I think say if other advocates for we better. Right now, the people in Hong Kong a few years ago, then they demonstrate, then they strike for one reason or another until they give them free passage for England and back. We sit down, our leaders sit down for me then take that opportunity then now we earn. And I'll give other people there na salon the same opportunity with me and other one then get we can England before they change that whole day. For me it is poor. People in Australia where then great grandpa them now they left the shore for go Australia either willingly or some of them been get small problem now, so we then go lock them up in a prison in Australia. They all get rights for the car in and out of this country. But we supposedly only a few years ago been the kind of so free one can't come anymore. So shame on Doc if you are responsible or if you know advocates for we more. I talked earlier on about integrity. I think say I made a huge mistake. I say because we get for begin choose people with integrity for lead we. But I believe say if we look at the word integrity, we go find out say integrity na way you do something behind people and back, way you proud of, and way they not go hold you in any negative way with the thing can't to light. I believe in integrity dandy. So if they left money na table, all my work I gonna do, nobody know they see, I take I put on my pocket, that means say I not get integrity. I believe in the meaning of integrity dandy. But in Sierra Leone, we people them, then they do them right front with face. Then they do them be we back, and they don't care. So that's the problem. So sometimes the problem not to integrity. The problem that they do not care. There's no accountability for what they do wrong, and we need for really and truly change dandy. Because when you as lawyer do wrong on this side of the world, you get struck off. One policeman in America right now, for the next few years, you get for spending life in jail because he do something wrong. We get policeman in a salon where they get away with murder every single day. But as I said last week, eventually tables will turn. And with tables turn, some people are not they forget. They will come after you. I am not saying they will harm you physically, but the law will bite at some point with government change. So at the big una within our power today, una think about tomorrow. For we, all the innocent people are within the country, and for una self, for the future.
Femi, don't drop the mic. Thank you so much. It's been a lengthy but exciting conversation and soul searching, because for us, it's a learning process as well. We continue for us, because if we want for all people with high standards, means say we have a lot of things and they will get for change along the way. But again, I don't get much for say. We don't hear the conversation. Everybody don't see the incident. We say Sierra Leone Parliament Fiasco, who is responsible. All roads leads to the Speaker of Parliament. The president give you a mandate for go do something. You decided for go bungle everything and mess them up and create chaos and make the country become distasteful for the people, which is really, really sad. You cannot be blaming the victims here. You failed to do what you're supposed to do. The constitution that you swear oath to protect or to serve under, you go there and do the wrong things, all for possibly ulterior motives, whether the president give you authority or not. But you should have, waiting and see. You forget the liber for tell Mr. President, say, Mr. President, with all due respect, I think this way we want for go so not good for Sierra Leone. For so many things. One, you are older than him. In terms of, if we look at the African context in Sierra Leone, age comes with wisdom. Two, you are more educated than him. Three, you are more experienced in him. Four, you're a legal mind. Five, you're a constitutional lawyer. So in every aspect where you look, he's lucky to be the president. He's fortunate to be the president. But if we put him all around, well, Femi, what is a smile? What talk?
Nothing.
Nothing, but it's true.
No,
yeah.
you're right, Juma. It's in many aspects he could have done better.
Right. In some within our so we they influence each other. There are certain things, if I can't tell you, tell me say Juma yourself. I will not be a party to that. Same to me. Let you vex everything, but later you will go sit down with pillow and talk to who can say, okay, you know what? Yeah, they were right. Simple. Now this the waiting for do. But now you go hold press conference back then, you know they free, you shout the word big one. My people, the constitution is supreme. But on the other hand, you undermine the supremacy of the constitution, Dr. Abbas Bundu. Say you bring the country into disrepute, because if the parliament, when are the hope of the people, mind like how they undermine them, so you compromise the parliament. Now people no go respect the parliament. So you want people to call you honorable, Dr. Abbas Bundu, when you're not acting honorably? We should be asking ourselves this question. Now they go get closed door meetings today for devise other strategies for blackmail people. No, you shouldn't do that. Your clerk standing there pointing finger on the opposition, leader of the opposition, tell us, a wicked man, just because he state the fact. You wicked. You're a wicked person. You can't be calling people's name like that. Anyway, well, tomorrow we do tuna live, and again it come to the same conversation we don't start. When I remember a few days ago, about a week ago, the Deputy Minister of Health and in presence in security manhandled one medical doctor in a salon, Dr. Catherine Josephine Cole. So that it caused problem. The medical practitioners them don't go on strike, or be said and go on strike, and government they negotiate. So we get the Secretary General for the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association with we tomorrow, Dr. Samba Jallo. They go there with we for can talk about that particular incident and talk about the condition of service of, medical practitioners and the healthcare system in Sierra Leone. Because though you say this government say they don't pay all the doctor and nurses them and all of those things, their life better right now. So we can talk about all those things and, carve a way forward. So join with tomorrow, Maya. And Thursday, we go there with Tuna as well on another program that we'll announce to you tomorrow. On behalf of the CRGM Media team, I want to say thank you very much, and apologies to the one in our Facebook window for watch we live. We'll try for fix then technical issues then day, but if we're not able, we'll still bring on a live through the YouTube as well. Until tomorrow, Jumaba, on behalf of the CRGM Media team, they say tata.
Yes, this na term for all Salon people and then party them. CRGM Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports, and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy, and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO, because we get Bebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the president's hour, and the Gladi program. Look me, I look you. All this they start soon na www.seragmmedia.org. Now who's term these?
There was a king, and this king ruled his kingdom. In his kingdom, air was clean. Yari the cat was the favorite pet to the queen. Yari was upset that this common lizard, Kotoro, would answer back to the queen. Yari.
Silverstone Beats.
People killing, people dying, children hurting, hear them crying. You can practice what you preach, or would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. People got me questioning, where is the love?
See this life that we live, oh, we all have to give, oh, yeah, yeah. Cause all I see is evil, and too much killing of my people, yeah, yeah. So let's bless one another, yeah, yeah. So let's help one another. I sing again, yeah.
What's me, I don't see this kind of thing where they happen. This not to be education opportunity. Now in we need, let we learn for the share, not to all time for big greed.
You see this life, the live, oh, you see where we lose or we know. Stop killing one another, let's stand together, yeah. Stop playing the hero, looking at each other like we're zero. On the block with a C, money they can make every day pan pre, yeah.
R.I.P. They took our boys, they take our joy, take our joy. They study time, we stop now crime. Don't blind bodies like your future.
Stop the stabbing, stop the killing. Let's love one another. Peace.
Where is the
I
see fighting every day, I see dying every day. Why don't we help each other and pave the way for a better life, a life that we all deserve? Instead of killing each other, why don't we preserve? So you wanna be a bad man, he's gonna be a badder man. You got a big knife, he's gonna get a bigger knife. Our people suffered for years in chains. Now we turn on each other, cut for gains. For the ones that send the youth to kill themselves, you pretend to be a father figure but only care for yourself. You are nothing but the flesh of the devil. You're evil, low life on another level. Think about the mothers and the pain they go through. You don't care for these kids, they mean nothing to you. But karma only knows the boomerang maneuver. One day the green reaper will be your remover.
This head of the range ranting up some sanctimonious food is as poetic verses, ruminate a prophecy given to a sentient dude. So I say it's as it is for you to listen and the juice, the wisdom that's gonna liberate and galvanize you. Under the sun ain't nothing new, that for black on black crimes and breaking news. Under the sun ain't nothing new.
You gotta stand up, stand up for what you believe in. Gotta stand up, stand up for what is right. Cause if you got me, then I've got you too. Regardless of what you've been through, even when you're feeling new.
Where is the
do this if we try. There's no time to waste, no time. Together forever, whatever the weather. Us as a unit working together.
See, I did not love done, but me heart still not tongue. God don't lift me up, but me heart still not run. You will never go far if you don't know where you're from. So I don't do it for myself, I'ma do it for the young. Plead to my brothers, let's do it for the youngers. Why spend a bag on a jumper? Back where you're from, people dying with hunger. With people then they suffer. You then I argue, they bluff, it's copper. You the game need for change, like we not get up. Where's the love? Where's the love, yo? Where's the love? I said,
where is the love?
Little youth, let's take time. Stop all the knife and the gun crime. Think of the future, paint that picture. Get a youth in the future. Peace gonna rain on me. Peace gonna rain on me. Yeah.
Let's stop the violence and come together. Get rid of knives and guns and bomb. Let's be together. With peace and love, golden hopes through storm and weather. See what is going on. Where is the love?
Tell me, how do you feel when you see your brothers and sisters lying down the street helplessly? And what will you do if you die today and find yourself in hell?
I want to ask you this. Look inside your eyes and answer me with all the truth. Where you get, whose side the love day? When I left. Boku man them get nef. If you live by the nef, you go suffer. You know get sense, you know sabi say nef not for butter. Stabbing guys, yeah that's uncool. When it comes to knives, yeah I'm anti. What happened to fighting guys with your hands, G? When you stab a man, it's not one man you stab. Just remember that you stab a whole family.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and hear them crying. You can practice what you preach, or you will turn the other cheek. Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. People got me questioning, where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love, the love. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love, the love.
Oh, Kadiatu, my friend. She was the brightest at our level. Even though she was as innocent as the heaven, that did not stop Papa Abu at age 57 to ask for her hand in marriage as she turns 11. Her parents, being naive about this rage, tolerated this marriage, and this destroyed the hopes and dreams of Kadiatu to live like it in Seattle. Instead, she's been used as a tool by an old school. Kadiatu is being used as a bait by her own mate. My friend is being emotionally tortured by this old culture. Old child marriage, it's on the rampage like disease, eating up the fabric of our girl child image, and it's our duty to cage. Let's diverge. Please be obliged. It is now we emerge from this ancient custom at large.
If not for this dreadful event, Kadiatu could have become president, but now she has been trapped in an old man's residence, like a mosquito in a tent. She is vulnerable, but with her age, she is still able to become that virtuous woman of substance, like Madam Patricia Kaba, Madam Dr. Kadi Sise, Madam Sianyamako Oma, Madam Dr. Sylvia O'Blyden, Madam Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Oh yes, without child marriage, our girl child can still turn into Madam Hillary Clinton, Madam Theresa May. Be it as it may, Madam Condoleezza Rice. Let's not be hypnotized, but rather stay wise, for this can only be realized if education is being prioritized and child marriage is being criticized. So please, parents, do not relent, as it is apparent that a girl child can become great if only you patiently wait.
Hello, my name is Josephine Kamara. I'm the founder of You Can Do It Foundation. You Can Do It Foundation is a charitable organization based in Sierra Leone, West Africa. You Can Do It Foundation has been in existence for the past 2 years. We have been fighting gender-based violence against women and girls within the community. During the past 2 years, we have been offering psychosocial support, counseling, court fee, medical fee, including school items to the survivors of gender-based violence. However, during the lockdown of COVID-19, report received and confirmed that rape cases among a minor has increased tremendously within our community. Because of this, You Can Do It Foundation has secured the land to build an accommodation for the survivors of rape. However, this may almost become impossible without your generous support. We need your help to build this home for the survivors. Your help could be in cash or in kind. If you wish to join us to make a difference in a child's life, please go to our website, which is www.youcandoitcyf.org, or you can go to our GoFundMe page, which is Home of Hope for the survivors of gender-based. Or you can contact us with the details at the end of this video. We thank you greatly for your generous support, and thank you once more for making a difference in a child's life.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Come on. Freedom people, put your hands up. All the youths there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Put your hands up. To all the youths where they struggle these days, put your hands up so one day you go make them cheap. To all the youths where they struggle these days, put your hands up so one day you go make them. Come on. I got a little story for all the youths and nowadays. It really not be easy, but I got to let you know. Yeah. I struggle so hard to be this way, my brother. Keep the faith, you know what I'm saying. Roots got first, so all you say, he could be your helper and he could really carry you away. I got a lot to say, my brother. Just hold on to what you do. Your life is in your hand, just try your chance and be focused. See, one day you go rise up, just keep your head up higher. See, one day you go rise up, just keep the fire burning. See, one day you go rise up, just keep your head up higher. See, one day you go rise up, just keep your fire burning. Starts from behind, and now I'm there first. I get my feet strong until I get on top. The enemy don't try, but the see for see are tough. Because I hold my contact to anything I do, yeah. Hey, yes, so you got to be strong, you got to be fit to run this race, hey. Yes, so you got to be ready, cause you know that your enemies are out there, yeah. You got to be conscious, my brother, these days, you know easy. You got to be ready, cause you know that your enemies are out there. It's not easy, yeah, yeah. It's not easy, yeah, yeah. Cause you know that your sweat will never run dry. See, one day you go rise up, just keep your head up higher. See, one day you go rise up, just keep the fire burning. See, one day you go rise up, just keep your head up higher. See, one day you go rise up, just keep the fire burning. I got my faith to be strong. I got my faith to be strong. I got my faith to be strong. Everybody come help me sing, say. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, you got to be strong. You got to be free to run this race. You got to be ready, cause you know that your enemies are out there. Hey, you got to be strong. No, no. You got to be strong. Put your mind and faith to Almighty God. See, one day you go rise up, just keep your head up higher. See, one day you go rise up, just keep the fire burning. See, one day you go rise up, just keep your head up higher. See, one day you go rise up, just keep the fire burning. See, one day you go rise up, just keep your head up higher. See, one day you go rise up, just keep the fire burning. See, one day you go rise up, just keep your head up higher. See, one day you go rise up, just keep the fire burning.
One I've been missing, now that I'm different, I learned the hard way to become something different. Me and you too, nobody not go destroy. Would see we don't build past that man, I boss. So think about it, girl, let's solve this equation. Me plus you equals 2, baby. Me minus you go make me the fool. So till death do us parts, I go there for you.
Nobody no did it for you, I go did it for you. And if nobody no care for you, I go care for you. If nobody no feel your pain, I go feel your pain, girl. And if you need someone around that you need, I say I go did it for you. I be don't say this love too tight, I go did it for you. No matter what, I go stand by me, what I go did it for you. This love, we did it for you. Famous, oh, yeah. You don't be a me where I know it. Day today, girl, you don't be a me cause I did work so hard for make this love flow. Now for be a me till we married. Yeah, you go be a me cause I want change your life. So you go be me younger. I go meet you mama. Yeah, and I go meet you papa. Cause I ain't so hard for next time me. Girl, you were mine and I didn't nobody for make no mistake. It's me and me. If nobody no did it for you, I go did it for you. And if nobody no care for you, I go care for you. If nobody no feel your pain, I go feel your pain, yeah. And if you need someone around that you need, I say I go did it for you. I be don't say this love too tight, I go did it for you. No matter what, I go stand by me, what I go did it for you. This love, we did it for you. Oh, yeah. Hey. And it's how you day, I go day. This love not for you. And it's how you go, I go day. Think for you, I go cook up for you. Close for you, I go buy up for you. Side for sleep, I go be love for you. You know me, girl, and I love you.
Beautiful face, big booty waist. I still keep reminiscing on the first date. The first impression, baby, was the right place. After all these years, you still appreciate. Though some they hate, but we still go strong. All man, it's up and young, but I never did wrong. Cause now you I admire, your body's still on fire. For this you love, baby, your body's not good time. So let's fly around the globe, introduce you as me princess. Trips to London, Geneva with no problems. Put ring on your finger, I still not get down. Just pull yes, na street and all listen talk about. Cause this love too tight, so no forcing and fights. About to put you up and make everything right, baby. No more cries, no more goodbyes. I'm ready for love you till the day I die.
I be don't say this love too tight, I did it for you. No matter what, I go stand by me, what I did it for you. This love, we did it for you. Oh, yeah. Say we did it for you. Let nobody know come between me and you. Say this love, we did it for you. Hey, girl, I know you. I go meet you mama. Yeah, and I go meet you papa. Cause I ain't so hard for next time me. Girl, you were mine and I didn't nobody for make no mistake. It's me and me. If nobody no did it for you, I go did it for you. And if nobody no care for you, I go care for you. If nobody no feel your pain, I go feel your pain. And if you need someone around that you need, I say I go did it for you. I be don't say this love too tight, I go did it for you. This love so tight, no matter what, I go stand by me, what I go did it for you. No matter, yeah. This love, we did it for you. This love, we did. Listen, I go did it for you. I go did it for you. See, say I go did it for you. So I go did it for you. I go did it for you. I be don't say this love too tight, I go did it for you. Lord have mercy. No matter what, I go stand up, what I go did it for you. This love, we did it for you. Oh, I go did it for you.
There was a king, and this king ruled his kingdom. In his kingdom, air was clean. Yari the cat was the favorite pet to the queen. Yari was upset that this common lizard, Kotoro, would answer back to the queen. Yari. There was a king, and this king ruled his kingdom. In his kingdom, air was clean. Yari the cat was the favorite pet to the queen. Yari was upset that this common lizard, Kotoro, would answer back to the queen. Yari. There was a king, and this king ruled his kingdom. In his kingdom, air was clean. Yari the cat was the favorite pet to the queen. Yari was upset that this common lizard, Kotoro, would answer back to the queen. Yari.